Hey, Patriots fans, if you want to see Toyota's best offers, including those not seen on TV, go to buyatoyota.com. It's Toyota's official website for deals from the official vehicle of the New England Patriots. Toyota, let's go places.
Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
First picks show of the season, straight up and against the spread, as we've been doing for many, many years, establishing ourselves as really the gurus of picking games. What do the sharps know? Are they chalking games? Are they floating games? Or are they fading games?
Like, maybe you could write a book on gambling, and it's like your face with, like, what do the sharps know? And, like all his little Fredisms.
The cover of the book is like the art of the deal.
Most importantly, this really affects my game day outfit.
Oh, yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, I would wear a hefty bag. So you picked up the wrong return slip and sent 6 dresses to somewhere you have no idea.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
package was gone.
Yeah.
So you're like, Nicolette, just put on the new slip and just mail it out. I'm like, the package is gone, Fred. Like, so.
Lucy's got a lot of splaining to do.
So he doesn't necessarily need to be fired for that.
Okay.
Although I would fire him
Yeah.
for that.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Tuesday here at Gillette Stadium, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Topic number one is the Patriots game, Tom Brady halftime, that whole thing. But the AFC East, holy mackerel, it was turned on its head last night with the Aaron Rodgers. Now we're finding out a torn Achilles, out for the season. I mean, it's a 2-horse race now. Patriots and Dolphins.
Could you believe that? Like, they ran him out with the flag. It was, like the September 11th thing.
Nothing.
He's waiting for Paul.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have given Paul a moment. I couldn't believe that, though. Like, when Aaron Rodgers ran out with the flag, I'm like, the Jets fans, they are ready to go.
That was
This
his
is
highlight
like,
of the season.
This is it. And then 4 minutes in, just kind of awkwardly gets tackled. I couldn't believe it, yet I could believe it.
He's got those long feet and, his
it's
toe.
yeah. Angle.
What?
Yeah.
Leverage.
Yeah. You ever see his feet? He's got like size 30 feet.
I'm sorry, I don't like
Really?
looking at people's feet.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Well,
Well,
in the shoe.
He had cleats on.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Anyway.
Dogs were barking.
So yeah, that's huge. We're gonna get into that, obviously. What does that mean for the Jets and for the AFC East? But let's go back to Sunday. Tough loss, I thought, for the Patriots. But like we talked about in the postgame show, there was enough there, both offensively and defensively, where I'm excited to see this game on Sunday. To see what they can do against Miami. I'm excited. I think there was enough there to give me encouragement.
That's a huge game. I don't know. I mean, it's you don't want to overstate it week 2, but based on how things have gone against Miami and Tua, I think Tua's 4-0 against the Patriots, and like you said last night, the Bills losing, the Jets winning. You're just seeing a lot of chaos here early in the AFC. So I just think for the Patriots to position themselves, well for the rest of the season, they got to come out and just, play their best game in a couple years to, and it's not going to be easy. These guys are really good.
I mean, they were in a shootout with San Diego, and Tua is probably going to be Offensive Player of the Week, right? Hands down.
400 and
how many touchdowns? 3 touchdowns, 440 some odd yards. I mean,
He was
466.
in that game.
466.
Chucking it all over the schoolyard.
Yeah.
I think they had 17 explosive plays.
Wow.
17 20-plus yard gains.
Hill had over 200 yards catching.
I think
Yeah.
it truly just starts with eliminating the mistakes. Like, it's just like a face palm when you see on the first drive of the game. I don't understand. I mean, I think it happened last year, first drive of the game against Miami. It's like, why does that always have to happen? Why does it always have to be a tip for an interception or a fumble? It's just, can we have one drive where we start the drive with a touchdown and not a turnover? Like, it's hard to beat a team like Miami when you're digging yourself out of a hole.
Yeah, they're going to have to eliminate these mistakes for sure.
Yeah, it's. I looked it up before the game to make sure I was right about this because I had a feeling that maybe they'd start well in this game. They didn't score their first opening drive touchdown until Thanksgiving last year. It was in Minnesota on Thanksgiving night was the first opening drive touchdown the Patriots had, and then to Tamara's point, didn't do it again this week either. So the starts are a problem.
Like, I'm not so worried about not scoring a touchdown on the first drive. Just don't make it easy for them. Don't turn it over and give them a short field or whatever. Like not scoring right away. To me, that's the least of the problems.
Yeah, that and finishing, better.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think there are threads from the past couple years, but I think as Paul kind of said on the post game, it did feel like they had a little more juice in this game on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But it's week 1. How's it going to play out over the next few weeks? They've got to get to another level.
I mean, we went in, finding out that Strange wasn't going to play, Onwenu wasn't going to play, and we were like, oh boy.
Devontae Parker.
Right, Parker. But I think the offensive line held up in pass protection well. I don't think that was a problem for the most part. I think it gave Mac ability to execute. I don't think the run game was that good, but we can work on that. Again, there's enough there on both sides of the ball where I'm like, okay, we can let's see what happens this season.
There was potential.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I really like
What?
I really like the defense. I'm not as high in the offense, but
Yeah.
I will admit that we're going to get to this. It's going to be something I think we're going to talk about a lot of weeks offensively, but defensively, I haven't seen a lot of those performances since Brady left where they play against another offense that is considered to be one of the more productive offenses in the league, and they really controlled it. 250 yards, that's a really, really low amount of yards for that kind of a team that wants to grind it out and wants to do different things with the RPOs. I thought they were really well prepared for it. They should be. They had, 6
All
months to
summer.
prepare. But I thought they really it's hard to tell in getting a guy's head, but I thought that they had Jalen Hurts second-guessing himself a little bit on some of his plays. But I was really impressed with the 60-minute effort on defense. I've seen them sort of start, with a good game plan, and then the other team figures it out. I've seen them sort of struggle early on and then, get it together. But when the game's on the line and they have to finish it out, they can't do it. I'm thinking of like Jonathan Taylor, against the Colts a couple of years ago.
The Raiders game last year.
You need one more stop to sort of get the ball back and complete a comeback, and you can't get it. Well, they did it twice. I thought that was probably the best defensive performance I've seen post Brady against a good team.
Yeah, I mean, they gave up 18 points, right? The defense.
Yeah.
Gave up
And one of
18.
those
12.
came on a short
They
field.
gave up 12 points, really.
Yeah.
And so if someone had told you before the game that's what they were going to do, you'd be like, okay, chalk it up.
I would sign up for all of it.
Yeah.
All the stats.
The lone touchdown drive came off after the Zeke fumble, so they started at the
21.
24 or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so I mean they really didn't give up a real touchdown drive
26.
defensively in this game. And to Paul's point about their preparation, I mean this was like they looked like they were prepared for like Super Bowl levels of prepared. They
I
had
saw someone on Twitter actually said that.
they
It looked
had
Super
like
Bowl game plan.
everything, all the RPO and read option stuff. They had little wrinkles in for all of that those kinds of things. They spun the dial on them. They had different disguise coverages. Like they were ready to go defensively in this game. And I think what's exciting, before I trash the offense, what's exciting about the defense is that now they have the personnel that you feel like they have all the missing pieces that maybe they didn't have last year with Gonzalez in place and Keon White adding into the defensive front. And we'll see what Marty Mapu does with more exposure and more playing time. But in general, it feels like they have all the pieces. They have the coaching on that side of the football. And I was really encouraged by what I saw. Sometimes you turn on the film with defense and you're like, oh God, like Jalen Hurts just missed like 10 throws that he could have made. This did not feel like that. This was clean.
How did you think it was without Jack Jones? Could you really tell that he wasn't there? Or
No.
He's so dismissive.
right?
No, it's a good question. I didn't mean to be dismissive. I'm on the fence on Jack Jones still. Like I still don't know if Jack Jones is what some people think he is in terms of a football player. So I wasn't really missing Jack Jones to begin with, I guess. But I felt like Jonathan Jones played most of the snaps opposite Gonzalez on the outside. Marcus Jones played a few. I think he had 14 snaps on the boundary. So they made it work with those two guys. And Miles Bryant, really good game for Miles Bryant, playing in the slot mostly. And then Marcus was kind of like the fourth corner.
That was the only time that maybe you could have said they missed him, was just when they had to put Marcus in on the outside, but it didn't really seem. I don't know if on the touchdown he gave up, if he was in for Jones on that one, or was he just inside? So
Yeah.
I have a quick question that has unrelated to anything we're talking about, just a kind of a factoid. According to the game book, it had Marcus Jones down as one offensive snap.
I
Evan,
saw
did
that
you?
too.
Did you
Yeah,
notice
so
that?
they faked the screen to him.
Okay, I
it was
missed it.
Zeke
I missed
fumbled.
it too.
It was on the.
Oh, it was on the Zeke fumble.
Yeah,
play.
so Marcus Jones was in the game, and they faked the screen to him, and it did. The play wasn't going to be that overly successful, anyways, even if Zeke hung onto the ball. But the Eagles' defense did panic a little bit, and they were waving like over on the Marcus Jones's side of the field, like hello, like this guy's in the game. We got to watch out.
I
for
get
this.
that design.
Yeah,
I get that.
It just.
Especially with all eyes are going to be on him when he gets in there for that first snap, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
fortunately, Zeke's fumbled.
Yeah.
So you weren't happy with the offense?
No.
No?
No.
Careful.
No. I.
Not happy is strong.
Yeah, not happy is strong.
Not as thrilled as others, I don't think is strong.
I would agree. I think that here's the thing. There's a lot of like context and things to discuss with this problem that they have, but ultimately there's nothing explosive about this offense. There's nothing explosive about the offense. I just mentioned that Miami off the top had 17 explosive plays. Now that's like ridiculous. That's off the charts ridiculous.
What if we find out about that Miami game that the Chargers defense is absolutely horrible?
Well, the
I
Chargers
just-
defense
possible.
is sketchy.
I
It is.
I just don't understand how they continue to blow leads like this. Like they did the same thing against Trevor Lawrence. What are you doing? How have you not learned anything over an entire offseason?
Whoa, that was a one-score game the whole game. They went back and forth.
I just
They were losing at the half.
Leads. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't think they blew a lead on Sunday. That's all. I mean, I know they had the lead in the fourth quarter, but Miami had a lead in the fourth quarter too. It went back and forth. Like this wasn't 27-0.
Yeah.
Like they did before. I don't think their defense is very good. I know
No.
everybody keeps saying how badly the Chargers underachieve because they think that. I don't think they underachieve, but that's the story for a different show.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I just don't.
I
think
think they're a
Patriots-
good team. They're not a great team.
Yeah.
People think they're a great team for some reason.
People,
Who, the Chargers?
People look at their roster and think that they have all this roster talent because they have a lot of really good players at the top of the roster, right? They have guys like Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler and Joey Bosa. But when you start to go down the depth chart with the Chargers and look at their roster depth, especially in the secondary, I mean, they are thin back there.
I just don't think the Patriots can win that game. You know, that's the game that the Patriots that's a tough one for them. If the defense
shootout
doesn't
like
get
that?
if the defense doesn't hold the team, I mean, we've talked about 25, but 30, it's hard to see them being able to keep up in that kind of game.
I don't want to go off on a
You want to
Chargers tangent.
We're Philly here still.
Yeah.
We'll do Miami tomorrow.
Yeah, I still
The
wanna,
Chargers is Miami.
I still want to talk about this Patriots offense a little bit because I think that I sense from Evan a little bit of dread going forward.
Yeah, look, I think this is the combination that I will try to keep short. Okay, the main thing is that this offense needs to be really, really good on the margins because they don't have a quarterback who's a big-time playmaker and they don't have receivers that are big-time playmakers. So when they have all of these little just details that are not buttoned up, those add up to catastrophic moments, like the Kendrick Bourne play on the pick six. The route in the spacing could have been a little bit clearer and a little bit better. The throw could have been a little bit better. And those little margins that are just, it hit him in the hands, but it's not a great throw.
No, it wasn't a good throw.
No,
And-
I mean,
and
that's
it-
like up in the air. I don't
it's
know. I don't
not
put that on
Behind
Bourne.
him and high.
But these little things, when you take out don't just look at the box score. Like, remove the fact that he threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns because ultimately, like, who cares? It's not fantasy football. Like, nobody cares about the stats, right? If you look at the actual film and go play to play with Mac Jones in this offense, there's so many little things, and I get it's week 1, but I feel like this has been happening for 3 years. Like, this is the story, is that they don't have guys offensively, whether it's the quarterback or the receivers, to make it all up in one play. They don't have those types of players. So you need to be so precise to go 10, 11, 12 plays on a drive to drive down the field consistently. And I think what you see is, okay, like this throw, the ball, if he puts it on his inside hip, then it's a first down. But maybe the ball drifts to the outside hip a little bit, and then just that little tiny bit of ball placement, that difference is a difference between a big play and a not big play. Or you look at the last play to Kayshon Boutte, it just takes too long. The receiver takes too long to run the route. The quarterback takes too long to throw the football. And there's guys in this league, and this isn't to pick on Mac, but if Josh Allen is a beat late to a deep out like that, he can make up for it with velocity. He just throws it 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
He can't do that. So if he's going to be a beat late to throwing to Kayshon Boutte there, and I get it, he's indecisive about it. He's a rookie receiver. It was the right read to make on the play. He's hot because they're sending a blitz at him, so he's got to get the ball out. But on that particular play, he's a beat late to it. And if you're a beat late with that kind of arm strength, it's going to make it a really difficult catch on the sideline for the receiver, and Boutte can't get his foot down.
And Boutte's in the game because Parker's not.
Yep.
If Parker is, does he make that catch?
I think they win the game if Parker played.
He definitely makes the back shoulder. I don't know.
There's no question the first one.
Yeah, I don't know about this one.
He's very good at that.
This is all about the little intricacies of timing and footwork and ball placement, and because the bottom line is that Mac doesn't have the physical tools to just do whatever that he wants. He needs to be so perfect at all of the little things so that he can maximize every ounce of physical ability that he has, because he's not going to just make it up in one play, or he's not going to just be able to throw off platform or off his back foot and have it still go where it needs to go. So there's a couple plays too where he just looks like he's stuck in the mud, like his feet are just kind of stuck. And if he doesn't step into it, and if he doesn't get his momentum into the throw, then it takes a while to get there. And that can be the difference between just a nice completion and a completion with yards after the catch. So I think what my frustrations or my concerns come from is they have to play so much on the margins offensively. And what happens in the end of the game is it just, if you're not perfect in those situations, you don't score.
Yeah.
I think I'm probably a little bit more optimistic than Evan, but I understand exactly where he's coming from. And I'm not necessarily looking at the game Sunday because I thought they did some good things on Sunday. Now, I know you're talking about the first drive, Fred. You can't go turnover, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out.
Right.
Okay, so now you're in the middle of the second
yeah,
quarter
yeah.
without having even threatened to score.
Absolutely.
You can't do that. So I think a lot of people look, as Evan said, at the box score and like, wow, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. 20 points is not a good total, first of all. So the fact that they were all passing touchdowns makes it look like it was a better offensive performance than it was. But my bigger point about the whole thing was I'm kind of having flashbacks to 21. And I think there was a lot of nice things that Bill O'Brien showed on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And I think the league has gotten their first look at some of the things that they're going to do differently than last year.
Yeah.
And about halfway through the year, I think you're going to see a lot of that stuff exhausted. And what happens then? Now, I'm not going to get him in trouble for something that hasn't happened yet, as my boys like to say on my shows, right? You're not going to kill them for something that hasn't happened. Maybe Bill O'Brien is better than Josh McDaniels, and he's able to continue to be a step ahead of the defense all year round, and they won't have the drop-off that they did. I liked a lot of the stuff I saw on Sunday. I'm wondering how sustainable a lot of that stuff is.
I think that's where I'm coming from, is that because it seems like everything is still kind of hard for them, right? Where like everything is
a chore.
Yeah, and eventually you just need players to go out there and make plays because the scheme can't carry you every single week. You have to have some weeks where they just go out there and make a play. And, you know, the fourth down play on the second to last drive of the game, he's got Kendrick Bourne. And Kendrick Bourne is open for a touchdown behind the linebacker level. And when he comes out of the pocket and he's on the move, he doesn't make that throw.
That was the 4th and 3 you're talking about?
Yeah, he doesn't make that throw. And I go back and forth with Barth all the time with Josh Allen. I'm sorry, but Josh Allen is making that play. And I'm not trying to like compare him to the best quarterbacks every single week, but like those are the types of plays that he is not I don't think, capable of making on the move. So therefore, he has to just be so razor sharp on all the other little things that happen over the course of a game. And doing that every single week for 17 games to have it be consistent and good for the whole season is really hard.
All right, so we're getting a lot of reaction off of what Evan is saying. We'll get to that, but I want to get everything on the table. Brady halftime. What did everyone think? Were you satisfied with what happened? Because I've heard a lot of people, all they did was make an announcement. That's what Hardy said. But how did you feel about that? And are you excited about June 12th?
I liked it. I glowed a little bit. I know everyone's going to laugh at me in the show because I'm the guy that hates Brady. But when he ran out,
just embrace it.
When he ran out with his jersey on, that was when I first kind of caught a glimpse of it, and I just thought it was super cool. Even having been here for a year of him and experienced it firsthand, I don't know. It was a nice moment for me just to see him run out. Of course, he said all the right things, and the presentation was great. But for me, it was just the run out and seeing the joy in his face, and really wondering if he's ever going to do that run out again. Could this be the last time? He's talked so much about how much it meant to him to play in front of so many people in the crowd and the competition and all those things. So that was my favorite part.
Yeah, I love him being up on the lighthouse, and I like the fact that the first time we saw Brady on Sunday was when he was up there. So that was pretty cool, and I like when he said, "I'll be a Patriot forever."
Yeah.
That's all I need. That's all I needed. That's it. Yeah.
You didn't have a Tampa Bay shirt somewhere and also a little bit Tampa Bay.
Right.
No, what?
So my question is, and I know that Tampa was the last team to see him play, so maybe it's not exactly the same, but he's not going to have that kind of retirement moment with the Bucs, right?
He was only there for 3 years.
Right, because
they'll do something. They got to do something. They have nothing else.
But
That's all they got.
That was to me, that was the icing on the cake of the whole day was he did this for the Patriots because he still recognizes everything that the Patriots meant to him, and we recognized everything that he meant to the Patriots and all that kind of stuff. The Bucs ain't getting that, so we at least have that on Tampa Bay, that they're not going to get their little
I think
halftime
they
ceremony.
would look kind of silly if they made such a big thing. Yes, he won a Super Bowl with them. But
does he go in their Ring of Honor though? I bet they probably do.
You think they would do that?
Yeah.
I would.
His passing stats, I think, he has some of their franchise records.
I would, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I can think of guys that I would honor like that were here for 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Like who?
Curtis Martin. I think of him like that.
Well,
absolutely.
they put him in the. Oh, is he in the Patriots Hall of Fame?
He's not.
No,
he's not. But I'm just saying I could make that argument.
No, I couldn't.
No. Moss,
no.
Wait, you don't think Moss should go in the Patriots Hall of Fame?
I don't.
Oh, God.
Oh gosh.
I don't know about that.
Well,
I agree with you on Moss, but I
Yeah.
don't on Curtis.
yeah.
But
Curtis was a great player.
It's an
but,
individual
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
An individual whatever. So he said, I'm Patriot for life. Now, will you feel differently about that comment if he's starting a quarterback for the Jets in 2 weeks?
Yes.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
what was
Just a
all
little
that?
bit.
What was all that talk about? Your Patriot for life?
No, in all seriousness.
Did they make that call?
Listen,
You have to make the call, right?
Yeah.
I'm not telling you that. I don't think this. I never say zero, as you guys know. I tried not to say 0%, but probably less than 1% chance that he would say yes. But you have to make the call if you're the
That
Jets,
is
right?
absurd.
He looks.
I don't think it's absurd. He just
look-
played last year.
He looks like he's embracing that life
Yeah,
though
but
outside of football.
I know the Jets won, but now they have the perfect excuse to not win and get a quarterback.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen
Why?
because they're going to win too many games, just like they did last year.
Oh, I said, but right. But if they wanted to, they could make it so that they don't.
Well, do you suggest that they forfeit?
And I think
Because
and
you can't have worse quarterback play than they did last year, and they still won 7 games.
I know, but they weren't trying to lose last year. I'm saying that they could do the QT, and fans would understand. And
The
it's
soft
like,
tank?
Yeah,
I don't really
The
understand.
Well,
quiet-
especially
I don't
quiet tank.
understand.
the quiet tank.
Especially in this quarterback class. I mean, you're
Yeah.
going to have 3 or 4 guys at the top of the draft that are going to be worth taking in the top 10. Not what we always do is inflate all these
Legit.
this is Drake May and Caleb Williams are legit top 5
Yeah.
picks.
Rogers just 1
if
year.
it's the Jets, Caleb is going to stay at school.
Yeah.
So-
Right.
Oh, I don't
That's
think
what he's
so.
saying.
I don't
That's
think so
what he's
either.
saying.
But did he say that
He
about
didn't
the
say it
Jets?
about the Jets.
No, he just said generally.
He said, "I want to be in a good situation."
Yeah.
I think
that's a great
fantastic
situation.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I mean, and that's credit to the Jets defense last night too, and Breece Hall coming back. That's, I mean, it's. I mean, I know everyone laughs at Zach Wilson, but
Right.
that's still a tough team. That
And
you
he wasn't
needed a last
terrible. I
night.
mean, considering the circumstances, I don't think he looked good. I thought he looked a little
It's always
flustered at
shaky.
times.
Yeah.
Am I as scared of that Jets defense? Hell yeah, I
Oh,
am.
yeah.
They're,
Oh, yeah.
they're good.
I'm not.
that pick to Matt Milano
You're
was
not, Paul.
terrible.
I'm not afraid of defenses in general.
You
I'm
know
not.
what?
I'm not. You. That's great. That and a cup, $5 will buy you a cup of coffee.
What if your offense is severely limited? Then he
Yeah,
feels
I-
if your defense.
That's on my offense.
Yeah.
Like, I need to be better offensively. Getting back to what Evan talked about, I need to be more consistent
Yeah.
offensively.
Garrett Wilson, nice catch too. I mean, he's a good player.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah, my
Consistent,
fantasy
that's a
team
good
went down
word.
the toilet with that.
Okay,
injury.
so can we? I mean, I don't want to get on a thing here, but like the Bills, it seems like they got Dalton Kincaid, and now they're a 2 tight end team, and that's kind of what they're trying to switch it up.
He's not a tight end.
Yeah, he's like a Gasicki, right?
I know they were saying that a lot last night, but
Regardless what you call them, that's what they're
to me,
saying.
that's
This is our
their
this
new
is our.
receiver set is Kincaid with Davis.
Well, that's what I was
Diggs.
wondering when I watched it, and I mean, you can call them what you want, but it's just. I think the Brady Patriots and teams that try to sustain success, you have to evolve, right? Like,
Yeah.
and it feels a little bit like the Bills are still kind of, they got 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and we heard all this stuff about Josh Allen making better decisions, and I'm like, he took like 3 or 4 hits last night, then I'm like, is he okay? I mean, I don't know how he's going to make it through a season.
I don't
continuing
mind
to
the
play
hits
like
as
he
much
does.
as everybody else, but a couple of things that I saw last night, and most of this was off of highlights because I turned the game off when Aaron Rodgers got hurt. I was like, I have no
What?
interest in the rest of this game.
Oh man.
I went to bed.
I was only watching just to see how the
Yeah.
Jets looked with Aaron Rodgers,
Yep.
and it lasted 4 plays. I saw like literally 10 other plays in the game live, just clicking around.
It'd be nice if you like football, Paul.
Yeah, I do like football. I don't like Zach Wilson.
Exactly. Like, I don't need to see Zach
I
Wilson
don't need
do
to
what he
see
did
that.
last year.
Well,
I
listen,
don't need
the
to see
shot
it.
and Freud,
I was watching
Yeah, I
to
don't
see
get
how
that.
bad it would
I don't
get
have
for the
that.
Jets. It was an entertaining game.
I hate injuries in
But-
general,
Yeah.
especially crippling
I
ones.
know.
And that one in particular has a soft spot in my heart because I know how
Achilles.
much it hurts.
Interesting though, he kind of stood up first. Was that what you had with yours? Like, it almost seemed like
I walked
initially
around
he
for
was
two
like,
and a half weeks before I went to the doctors. That opened another scab last night because Beth got to make fun of me for like the next 20 minutes. Oh, big tough guy. You want to just walk around and pretend? If I didn't make you go to the doctors, you still would be doing it. I said, no, I think it would have rolled up by now. I don't think I would have been able to do
Your
that.
calf would have been at your mid knee.
But the Bills, not to get back to football for a second, the Bills, they desperately need a second wide receiver, a second pass catcher other than Diggs, and that's supposed to be Kincaid. And he did nothing last night. I mean, I know it's his first NFL game, but he's a first-round pick. Christian Gonzalez did something in the game. So, you look at Dalton Kincaid, and that's
he was all right.
That's the possession guy, right? Like, that's the guy that's supposed to move the chains for them in the middle of the field and have Diggs on the outside. And they've really struggled to find, like, secondary receiving help for Josh Allen. They obviously have Diggs, but they need those other guys.
To your point.
Evan, the window was closing.
To your
I don't know
point,
about
the
that.
Jets, by the way, own Buffalo. But anyway, to your point about evolving, from the early part of the game that I did watch the actual drives, I did think that they made a more concerted effort to try to run conventionally.
Yeah,
with
James
Cook.
yeah.
Then they got down inside the 10, and they had old pal Damian Harris.
Yeah.
Try to run it in. So I think that is something that might be evolving for them. It is a change.
Yeah.
Because they're used to just saying everything for
Don't
Josh
you feel
Allen.
like that's
But
like a good thing for the defense? Like, every time they turned
But-
around and handed to
but
Damian Harris, I'm happy. Like, go ahead. Like,
So, but at the same time, you're telling me that they lost in the Cincinnati game because they can't run the ball.
did I?
Yeah, you did.
Oh.
Cincinnati won the game because they were better on the ground, and
Paul keeps receipts.
I
don't
do because
remember saying that,
when there are
but-
things that I think that run counter to how the game actually unfolded,
You know how
I
Deuce
do
has
remember.
the Belichick database?
Yeah.
Paul has an argument database. It's got my name, argument date.
It's not my fault you can't remember your name.
Well,
Well, and I remember saying that as a long time ago, but I also, that game was also weather related. So I don't know. I'm not a big run game guy, like especially
No,
against
and
that
I don't want them to
quarterback.
run a lot, but I do think that they need to run. When they try to run, it can't just be Josh Allen in the spread,
Yeah.
and we're going to just spread everything out and then see if Devin Singletary can hit a crease.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to line up and run it normally, and I think that they at least tried to do that early in the game. Now, evidently I didn't watch much of this. Evidently, it completely fell apart for Josh Allen in the second half.
Yeah, Cook looked pretty good. You know,
I like James Cook. I think he's a good player.
Cody writes in, I like what Evan is saying. My one takeaway from this game was, man, wouldn't they look good with a Waddle, Hill, Diggs, Wilson type receiver? Improved offense, but man, they just need a guy. And then Jack says, finally had something to feel optimistic about in the AFC East with the Jets changing dramatically for the worse. Josh Allen playing downright bad last night, and I thought the Patriots finally gave me some hope that we have something decent here. And then Evan brings us all back down to reality. What a drag to listen to, he says.
Well,
I'm
I would say too, just and I hear everything that these guys are saying, but you started 2 rookies on the offensive line. Like let's get healthy. I mean I'm not gonna argue about the Max stuff, but I think that they can get a boost certainly from getting Michael Onwenu, Cole Strange back, and even Parker for what he is. So
I'll give you that. Get the offensive line guys back, and we'll see.
We'll see. Maybe they can run the ball a little bit more. Maybe it helps them establish a little bit of a margin for error that I think we all kind of agree that just hasn't existed the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It's what the game's going to look like. I think we all were thinking the same thing when it was 16-0. You're like, here, this game. If this is the same team as we've been watching for 2 years, this game is over.
It was dreadful.
And they didn't even take the lead back. They got within 2 points, and that was encouraging. But still, it's bad start.
I didn't think the game was
finish.
over. In fairness,
I got people texting me being the same. Did Paul just give the nod?
I did, and I did not. Now, I did not expect it to unfold the rest of the way it did. So I don't want to be disingenuous. I figured that the Patriots would kick around. I figured Philly would lose interest, and the game would be a little closer but that's not what happened. Patriots outplayed the Eagles the rest of the game.
You were almost ready to give the Patriots nod when they were going in for the score. We were both like, they're going to win. They're going to win.
I know.
Oh,
With certainty, I thought the Patriots were going to score after the fumble.
Yeah.
When they didn't score after the fumble, I didn't have the same confidence the second time they went down.
Not to toot my own horn, but I was kept on telling
Evan
you guys
Evan was doom and gloom the whole time.
Because I saw that movie all last season, like how the Bengals game, the Raiders game, like I've just seen it over and over again that this team just can't come up with those clutch moments. But you said the word consistency, and Paul, about the offense, and that to me it's just how hard it is to be consistent at playing offense this way.
Like, you have to trick the other team all the time.
Yeah, the scheme has to work every play. The quarterback has to make the right decision with the proper read, with the proper accuracy, and all of these little things that happen. Like you just turn on that Chargers-Dolphins game last night, and I was watching the film during Monday Night Football, and the Dolphins sometimes don't even look right. But then Tyreek will just outrun everybody, and Tua just throws him the football. And it's like they can have 17 other mistakes on one play, but eventually 10 is just going to get loose, and he's going to score a touchdown. And the Patriots just don't have that luxury.
Neil says, based on the show opening, we should fire Belichick, trade our assets, start a new regime, and get a top 3 pick for a new quarterback. That's insanely harsh, but that is what you're saying, or we'll just go 8-9 for eternity.
I do think.
Who said that?
Us. That's what he says.
Do you know you were talking about the Jets? You were talking about the Jets when you said that they should just.
Yeah.
No one would know.
Well, I don't know if that's
We're not
what he's
suggesting
talking
the
about.
Patriots should tank.
I don't know if that's what he's talking about. I was talking about the Jets at that point. Yeah.
I just want to be clear on that. No one said the Patriots should tank.
No.
No.
Adam from Louisiana, I'm not trying to compare Mac to Tom because they're obviously not on the same level. Evan was talking about how Mac can't make the throw on the run like Josh Allen can, but Tom Brady didn't make those either. So do we really need it? We proved with Brady that you don't need a mobile quarterback to win. What are your takes on the need of mobility and how you can overcome not having it at quarterback?
It's not
you
about
overcome not having it at quarterback by having star wide receivers and speed wide receivers like Jalen Waddle or Diggs. But you can't have
or you
neither.
overcome it by having the greatest quarterback of all time.
Or that.
I don't think it's about a question of mobility versus not mobility. It's just you got to give me one or the other. Brady was so efficient and so sharp on every single time he dropped back pretty much, so that he made up for the fact that he didn't have mobility with the fact that he was just perfect all the time. If you can't be near perfect in the pocket and you can't add plays out of structure on the move, then you're just not giving me either thing. And Mac, I think, can do the consistency thing from the pocket in stretches, and we saw that in the second quarter of the game on Sunday. But can he do it for 4 quarters? Can he do it when it counts late in the game? Can they do it? Not just him. And that's the difference. Brady made up for all the mobility stuff because he was perfect. And not everybody's going to be perfect, but you need to be consistent.
Also, I feel like they're just relying so much on their coaching and their ability to coach around the fact that they don't have an elite quarterback and they don't have elite receivers.
Right.
And it's like, how long will that
Yeah.
how long will you be able to sustain that?
Yep.
I just watched the punt return for the Jets game. How did they not call that
I know.
block?
Yep, in the back.
It was a block below the waist. It was a trip. It was a leg whip. I mean,
I think he would have
pick your
scored
infraction.
anyway.
Yeah, there were some Twitter people pointing that out.
Oh yeah,
But that
well,
that could have been significant. That might have forced the Jets to get a first down.
I don't know who
before
it was.
kicking a
Was
field.
it- was it
Seriously,
Mike?
no,
I
like
know, I know.
that was
I
about the
listened last
25-yard line. If that's a 15-yard penalty
Yeah.
for a trip,
It's from the spot of the foul,
right? So it was
Yeah.
at the 25-yard line. They might have had to get a first down to get a field goal.
He ain't getting
Who
the
was
first
it that
down.
said this game has an asterisk because of that?
Oh,
I don't know.
the rules
Oh,
expert,
Yeah.
yeah.
Joe Perry or John
Sounds like
Perry.
he had some money
Joe
on
Perry,
this game.
Aerosmith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see that all the
Right?
people
Joe
wanted their
Perry,
money
right?
back?
Guitarist, something.
Oh, for the Rogers.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? That was somebody posed that should sports books and all give refunds for a situation like that.
Nope.
I don't think
No,
so
'cause
either. That's
No.
one
part
of the risks.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why. Yeah, that's why it's gambling.
Right.
Yep. Agreed.
Like, what
sh-
happens if you bet on a team and the other team's quarterback gets hurt? Like, do you
Right.
you
Where
don't-
does it
Right.
stop?
Right.
Like the Patriots wouldn't have won 10 games 2 years ago if all the teams that they played were healthy.
Yeah, right.
Like that's
I mean-
ridiculous.
Well, I think they were talking about like season-long wagers, but still.
Right. No,
you
I'm
know?
saying
Yeah.
like people that bet the under of a team's win total.
Right.
And they end up instead of winning 5 games, they win 7 games because they played the Jets without Aaron Rodgers twice.
Right.
I wonder. I'm surprised like there wasn't anything like that when the Bengals-Bills game got suspended. Like I'm glad
Well,
that people
those
didn't do
bets
that.
were null and void.
They were?
because of
The
that.
game? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
because it has to go a certain amount of time.
Yeah, there wasn't a
Okay.
result. Shadi from Beirut, Lebanon writes in, Evan is absolutely spot on. The amount of delusion and happiness that I've seen from the fan base for an offense that scored 20 points and failed to win the game despite having 2 chances to do so is baffling to me. This is similar to every showing from last season. They're in a hole, they make a mini comeback, and don't actually win the game. A question for everyone. Did anyone think Mac would win us the game in either of those 2 drives? I did not. It was an all too familiar
did.
script.
The first drive when Jabril Peppers forced the fumble, I thought they were going to go down and score.
Me too.
Yeah.
I did not have the same confidence the second time around
I had
because of what
no
happened on the first
confidence.
I
one.
had no confidence.
At any point.
No, and Evan is not exaggerating. He was sitting
He
next
really
to
didn't.
He was sitting between Mike and I, and he did not have
Yeah.
any confidence.
I think
Yeah.
once I see Mac complete a comeback, then I will have some confidence. But for now, I don't.
That I don't love the stat of fourth quarter comebacks and game winning drives because there's a lot of context involved in these stats, but he is 1 fourth quarter comeback and game winning drive the same game, Houston, his rookie season. 1 time he has led a game winning drive in 33 starts, and that to me is not just on the quarterback but just in general. Like I don't know if you can explain clutch. Like how do you coach that? How do you?
You
But
can't.
we see this all the time out at practice, where Bill will say, 2 minutes to go, you're down by 4, you need a touchdown, defense needs to stop a touchdown, go play, and I don't keep track of who wins every single time, but the point is that they run through these scenarios all summer long, and yet when it gets to the game, they never have it. Like they never have the ability when the chips are down and the money's on the line. And in this league, that's such a big difference between 10-7 and in the playoffs and 8-9 and out of the playoffs are these little swing games that happen. Like that's a game that if they're 8-8 going into the last game of the year and they're out of the playoff picture or whatever, we're going to look back and be like, oh, they had a chance to
the
beat
1
Philly.
o'clock game. I mean, I was watching Cleveland and the Bengals, and it was like, I don't know, a real low-scoring game until the end. Then they started putting points on. That's the NFL these days.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, let's just look at every one of the Super Bowls that the Patriots played in. I mean, every single one of them came down to needing to be clutch at the end. I mean, I just think it goes back to the general sentiment about the team that it's a very narrow path to victory. And it's not just about the last drive. It's about the whole game. It's about the mistakes that were made on the first two drives, that eventually come back and catch up with you. It's not just, in a vacuum here, let's run one drive at the end of the game.
Let's play a game. If the Patriots offense is to improve, what will be their identity?
I would have to be pinpoint execution, I think. Get healthy and, maybe involve Demario Douglas a little bit more. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to talk a little bit about Juju. But, I think everybody feels pretty good about Kendrick Bourne right now. So is it Bourne, Parker, Douglas?
Well, will it be like an offense that shreds you, a 1,000 cuts?
Yes.
Death by 1,000 cuts?
Yes.
Yeah. I think Mike's point's spot on. Pinpoint execution.
I think it's going to be precision and no mistakes at all. Like, it's going to have to be like elite special teams, precision on offense, no turnovers at all. It's going to have to be perfect.
And then when they do have that one or two mistake per game, the defense bails them out.
Yeah, I mean, look, nobody's going to play perfect. No offense should be expected. Like, it's not like you're on a razor's edge of, walking that narrow. But, at least when you stack 80, 90% of the game is excellent execution, then it does give you a little bit of a margin for error. But certainly, to Tamara's point, you can't start out in a 16-0 hole. Like, this team is not built for that at all. So fast starts, good finishes are imperative.
This game followed so many Patriots trends of the score 25 points exactly. They're 0-11 with Mac Jones as a starter when the opponent scores 25 plus. Comebacks can't do it. Like all these trends that over the last 2.5 years of Mac, like it's all the same trends that this game checked the boxes on. You dig yourself into that hole. You can't mount the comeback. You can't score more than 25. Like those are all the things that this team has just not been able to do.
I also feel like you just can't teach someone how to be clutch or to have ice in their veins. You have it or you don't. Right. And you can't, as much as you can work on it, like practice it at practice, you just have it or you don't.
I'd say the same thing about greatness. Like just greatness is innate. Like, and I think everybody agrees Mac works super hard. Like, I don't think there's a quarterback in the league probably that is putting more of himself into his job and what he's doing. But, at some point it has to translate to a jump, and I don't think anybody, even those that are trumpeting the performance with the yardage and the touchdowns, are saying that, this is another level we haven't seen. Certainly he deserves credit for those touchdown throws in the red zone. I mean, we didn't see that last year, so I do have to give him, and that's why I thought they were going to win. I thought that they had a little juice in the red zone, and I guess I'm still used to when those things happen with Brady. Like, how many times did they come back and not get the job done? Like, I just thought of San Francisco in 2012 where it was like, oh my gosh, a comeback, and then it's like not a comeback. It's a few times, but you just felt when the momentum shifted, they're going to finish them off.
They did it enough where you.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I feel like we always remember the Patriots front running in the Brady years, like just killing every single team. But there were so many games where they made a lot of mistakes. 28-3, like, right? You just make
2013 the Broncos, that huge hole.
You just make a ton of mistakes,
2013.
and they just were able to climb out of them. All in that. This team needs to front run. Like, they need to play from ahead. They need to play at their tempo and at their game script, and then they can win. But when the script doesn't go to plan, they don't have a plan B. Like, they can't win those types of games. And I think we always forget how many of those there really were.
And I think in terms of the script, I agree with you 1,000% about the game script, but I also think that's largely true for Mac. I think when he's shown, like, more often than not, that he'll get the ball where it's supposed to go if everything looks right. And I even go to the last pass to Booty. I thought it was, I mean, I totally understand where Evan's coming from. Maybe it was a tick late, and that allowed the corner. I think it was Job. Was it the former Alabama kid, right? That was sick during the week.
Yeah.
He's the one that I thought made a really underrated play by pushing Booty out of bounds. He's pushed the Booty. And maybe a savvier wideout like Parker, who's excellent with the toe taps, right?
Yep.
Maybe he drags the foot before that push comes. Maybe if the throw is a split second earlier, like Evan said. But I thought that was one of his better throws of the day, if not the best.
Oh, that's a tough throw, too.
That's, game's on the line, but how did it come about? Back foot, snap, back foot, balls out, boom. Nothing to look at, nothing to think about. This is where I'm going, and I'm going to throw with conviction. But to your point on the 4th and 3, I think they might have been trying to get Juju on some kind of a option route.
We can talk about Juju.
That he was not prepared for.
Yeah.
And I heard a lot of people talking about this yesterday on the radio. I watched the same play. I kind of got the same, when you said he may have had Bourne. It's off script. It's off platform.
Yeah.
And this is why, I sort of bristle at Brady couldn't throw on the run either. No, Brady wasn't a great on the run, strict on the run passer, but he could move around off platform and make plays. And I think back way even early in his career to that bomb in overtime to Troy Brown, where he's buying time in the pocket, backpedaling, and throwing the ball 60 yards downfield to, in stride to Troy Brown for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Mac doesn't, and it's not about arm strength. He doesn't, I don't think, have the ability to rip the ball unless he's really got his base underneath him.
Right. In rhythm.
Rhythm,
Drop,
and he
drop,
can do it.
hitch, throw.
It's arm strength is not a problem when everything is okay. When it comes into play, and how many times do we say, my God, he's just floating them into, traffic and defensive team meetings. Tua is very similar. I think these two quarterbacks are really similar. And I watched a little. I didn't watch the whole game, but I watched a little of the highlight package. Tua's going to give you some chances. He gave the Chargers some chances for picks the other day. Only one of them got intercepted. I would say the same thing about Mac. Yeah. He's going to throw it 54 times. The Eagles got their hands on 5 or 6 of them, or had a chance. Even if they didn't hit them, they had a chance to make a play on more than the one that they picked off.
855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Let's open the phones up. We'll go to Sean in Vancouver. What's up, Sean?
Yeah, like the rest of you, or just about everybody, I was disappointed they didn't win. But I was encouraged because, as you probably know, my focus is more on the future. I didn't expect the Patriots to beat the Eagles. This was a game that was a huge, huge challenge. And, the Patriots made mistakes. We've been pointing them out. They need to work on keeping the ball down. Pop is not that tall. They need to make better decisions, like taking points and believing in your defense. That's something they need to do as well. And wide receivers, work on those toe taps as a rookie. You can do that. And I have some confidence that these things will happen over the year, and they'll be better moving forward. And now, like I said, this Eagles game was a huge challenge. There's areas that the Patriots had to work on that were problems last year, stopping mobile quarterbacks. They did that this game, keeping yards down against top offense, and they kept the Eagles down most of the game. The defense played really well, and defending the tight end, sure, the Eagles only targeted Dallas Goedert once, and he's probably open, but we don't know if he'll catch a ball, so maybe they were good at that too. Also, giving up pressure like that offensive line. My God, they had 2 rookie backup guards in there, and the right tackle that never played for the Patriots, so not even in the preseason. Calvin Anderson, I think he did pretty well. They didn't give up a sack until the end of the fourth quarter. So, but most importantly, and Fred, you were saying this is a key for this moving forward, is Mac Jones has to be better than he was 2 years ago, and I have confidence now. I haven't seen it, but now in this game, it looks like, maybe he can. Sure, they don't have a deep threat. The running game didn't work, so he had to do the quick throws. There was no chance to play action with being down 16 early, but maybe if they have someone besides Bourne to go deep, that will work moving forward. So that's what I'm saying is I'm encouraged and I'm optimistic now from that game, even though it was a really disappointing loss.
All right, thanks, Sean.
I just don't know where the optimism comes from. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so negative, but what have they shown that they're gonna, especially the quarterback, that he's gonna take some giant leap forward? I don't know where that. Credit to Sean.
Defensively,
that's
I get it.
great.
The everything Sean said about the defense, I would agree with on Sunday.
Me too.
And I get the optimism there. The other part, I think we're talking about this team like it's a little engine that could. And I don't think we should be in that situation 4 years into the rebuild process. I like the fact that some young guys got their feet wet the other day. But, Mike, this is something you harp on a lot, and I agree with you. That'll be great if you retain, the almost 24 guys that are going to be coming up. Where's Duggar going to be next year? Where's Owenu going to be next year? Where's Uche going to be? I mean, I'm not advocating that they all return. I don't think that's the right way to go either. Don't fall in love with all of your own players. But if all of those guys are gone, and then okay, great, because we have Keon White and Marte Mapu, but only for 3 more years after this, like that's not like then you're constantly in this thing, and the age of the roster to me is I don't care. Like everybody says how young they are because they have 11 rookies on the team. Well, I saw a stat that like in terms of average age, they're like 26th.
Oh, they got a bunch of guys that skew that. So.
Who?
Slater.
Who else?
Other people.
I mean, you cut the
Folk,
38-year-old kicker. That was
yeah.
the thing last year. You had Slater and Folk. Now you just have Slater. One guy ain't skewing 53.
No, and that's the front of the line. And I mean, it's a lot to dissect there. I mean, I think I said it to Evan during the game. I'm like, so you're going to kind of play Duggar at free safety now, so he's not going to really have the play making that he did. Down
I'm
near
not
the
even
line
getting
of
into. I'm not even getting into the dark place that you're going with this.
So you're kind of setting it up as he's not going to have a statistically productive year. He might be very valuable.
We're going to try to keep his market value down. I'm not even going to that dark place.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's, and I'm not saying that it's purposeful. I mean, I think that he probably is their best option. And they spun the dial a lot. Like, Peppers had a nice play playing free safety. Like, Mills would be back
Took
there
him a while to get
little
that
bit.
one in.
Yeah. But same thing. Uche played 24 snaps. I mean, I know it's a mobile quarterback, and it's not the drop back passer, and that's.
But wouldn't you want a guy like that? That's athletic.
Well, certainly a guy that had 12 sacks last year and is going to be a free agent, is probably going to have a demand as a pass rusher, and he's still just a role player in this defense, and I wonder how much they value him. And then you got 2 rookie guards who are both getting experience right out of the gate. What's that going to do for Michael Onwenu? I mean, if you really, what if so? I mean, Evan, I think you wrote, do you like So better as a guard? I mean, I think you look better too. He wasn't great, but I mean, had some struggles.
It was bad, but he was better.
But you have something to work
better
with
than
there.
Right tackle.
Yeah, they gave up a lot of pressures to be sure, but
they dropped back a lot of times.
To Fred, yeah, they passed 58
times.
Was it 58?
He dropped back 58 times with penalties and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I mean, they gave up I think I saw something from PFF. I don't know if it's accurate that they was about a third of the plays, about a third of the pass plays they got pressure, which is a pretty. I mean, that's a pretty significant total. Mm-hmm. But to Fred's point, it didn't break down the offense.
Yeah.
When Fred, you said that off the top.
Yeah.
They did. They did a great job of getting the ball out really quickly. Mac took some hits, to be sure, and some of those hits that he took, he delivered pretty good passes on.
Yeah.
In fairness to him.
Yeah. And that's why I wonder some of, not all of it, but some of, when you have a bad offensive line, you're going to throw a lot of screen passes. You're going to tempt an aggressive front four with screen passes. And were there too many? Probably, but, I just think that probably an underrated element of all this is just they had a lot of stuff they were working around here in this first game, and that's not an excuse. They might have to work around it this week too, but I do think that there were at least some early elements you could point to that could mean some better things.
16 targets for running backs in this game.
Yeah,
out of the 54 passes.
The blocking, I thought pass protection wise they were at 31% was the pressure rate against, and anywhere between 30 and 35 you're like in the danger zone, but you're not really. It's not danger.
Yeah, I don't think it was a travesty.
35 plus is like, okay, this is a bad game. Like, this is a problem. Jalen Hurts is at 42%, so the defense got after Jalen Hurts. But I would just say, the biggest thing I thought was the individual pressures added up because of how many times they dropped back. So I don't really hurt them that much for that. The run game though was a mess. They had a lot of trouble. Now, this group that hasn't worked together a lot. So when you start talking about working combination blocks and timing and rhythm in the run game, and you have who played tackle the entire summer and now he's playing guard, and you have all these different moving parts, that's part of it. But the run game was really worrisome. The pass protection was better than I expected.
Christian's in LA. What's up, Christian? Christian in LA, going once, twice, sold. Let's see. This mouse is stuck. John is in Louisiana. What's up, John?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey,
John.
I just feel like y'all giving Mac a little too much on the shoulders. I mean, can we talk about the play calling towards the end of the game?
Okay.
I mean, handing the ball off to Zeke on the 3rd and 3.
Terrible call. I agree with you, John. I didn't like that call at all.
Yeah, and I think even though we know Mac doesn't have the ability to get out the pocket, it's like I don't like the 3rd and longs that then now Mac has to be extra. You know what I mean? I like to be complimentary where it's 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, stuff like that. But my last question is, how do y'all feel about the special teams on both sides? I don't think we did too good.
How do we feel about special teams on both sides?
A little bit of a mixed bag.
Thanks, John.
For the Patriots special teams, I thought. Marcus Jones had a terrific punt return in his first attempt. Then I think he lost his mind for the rest of the game.
Right.
I thought he made some very
He's
questionable.
do it every time now.
Very questionable decisions. Fumbled one of them. Fortunately, went out of bounds. Ty Montgomery had one really good kick return. So that would be the positive stuff. The two plus returns. I thought Behringer was a little inconsistent. Bad touchback on one of them. Another one where I thought he had a chance for a plus 50. I think he got to the 18. Which, okay, it goes down is inside the 20, but not a great kick. They lost on one of Behringer's really long punts. They lost containing, gave up a 30-yard return the other way. I think it was 25 or 30 yards.
Coverage a little bit.
So, mixed bag. I didn't think it was bad. It certainly wasn't last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was a little mixed bag. What'd you guys think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds about right.
Yeah, I didn't think it wasn't anything that they wasn't a game-changing difference,
and correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see a lot of flags on the Patriots on special teams.
I don't think there were any real flags on special teams.
I think there was one.
No.
Was there?
Yeah, I think there was a hold maybe on. I think there was at least one. But anyway, but we saw a lot of that last year. We didn't see that.
Yeah.
The one nitpick I had about the special teams was they got to do a better job blocking the gunners on the punt team. I'm not really sure. They have this new thing that they were doing where they had Slater in the middle, and he was at about 8 to 10 yards, and then they had Jabril as the up guy, which they've done in the past with Amendola and Edelman. So they have the short guy to receive the short punt, and then the Marcus Jones all the way back deep. But when you have three guys in the middle of the field like that, you're one-on-one on the outside on the gunners. So a couple of the times that Marcus Jones fielded the ball and took some of those hits, I agree with Paul that I think he was trying to make a play. I think he knows he's one of the more explosive guys on the team, and he's trying to make something happen. But I wonder if maybe they start to double team the gunners a little bit more.
I remember saying, "Where's the vice guys?"
Yeah, and I just thought, and I know why Evan's absolutely right. That's why Marcus Jones is choosing to make those plays, but man, they were fortunate not to lose the ball at all. And I think there was two of them.
Yeah. Daniel writes in, can someone explain to me what Bill was thinking to go on 4th down rather than kick the field goal? I was at the game, and when they went for it, everyone was shaking their heads and figured it would cost us, and sure enough, it did.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like, there's a couple different things we're talking about, right? Like punts and field goals. And,
there was 4. They went for it 4 times, so there's a bunch of different scenarios to work through. But the one at the beginning of the fourth quarter, I think there was about 9 minutes to go, and they went for it on 4th down 8. And that one to me was what are you doing? You make it a 5-point game. Now a touchdown wins the game. Instead, the Eagles get the ball back and go up 11.
I hated it.
And because to me, I don't know how you guys feel, but 8 points to me is a 2-score game. Because you need the touchdown and you need the 2-point conversion. Yeah. So you need to make two things happen in order to get up that 8 points. So I always love, if you're down 8, eliminate the 2-point conversion. It's easier to kick a field goal, I think, sometimes than it is to get the 2-point conversion. So that's the one that I would second guess.
One. That's a good way to think of it.
Yeah, I don't look at it that way. I mean, Evan and I arrive at the same spot in terms of our thoughts on the to me, 8 is still, it's one. All you need is one score, one possession to get 8. I get the thing, but there's a couple of things here that really bothered me, and I know I've been through this with you guys, so I'll do the abridged version. The first they had 4th and 8, and they could have had a 54-yard field goal, and they chose to go for it. Okay, that to me is at least understandable. It's the fourth quarter of an 8-point game, and you don't want your rookie kicker's first ever NFL attempt. I think, Evan, you said this to me during the game, to be a 54-yard attempt, in rainy conditions. Even if it wasn't raining per se at the time, it was obviously sloppy. So maybe that's why he passed that one up. Got bailed out by an unbelievable Hunter Henry one-handed catch.
Yeah.
But you have 4th and 3 from the 17 with 10 minutes left in the game. I don't think that one's defensible. What really bugged me was the post-game talk where he said, we didn't know how many more times we were going to be down there. which is understandable because you don't expect in the last 10 minutes of the game to be inside the red zone 2 more times.
But at least once.
But also trust your defense.
But once you could have expected to be down there. And I think that what ended up happening is he put it in a situation where the Eagles could kind of close the game out with one drive. And that's exactly what happened. The Eagles took the ball after that failed fourth down, drove down the field, kicked a field goal, and made it a 2-score game. Now, you fortunately had another chance because the Eagles turned it over their last 2 times that they had the ball. And you certainly couldn't rely on that. Mm-hmm. But when Bill said there was 6 minutes left, that bugged me. Because either he was not remembering the situation, which is not good, or he was purposely trying to be cute there and see if he could get one past everybody. And either way, I didn't like it. And I also thought on 4th and 17, you have to punt. After the Jabril Peppers forced fumble, Patriots ended up getting sacked on that drive. Then they take a delay of game. It's 4th and 17 from the 48-yard line.
Yeah.
Punt the ball, pin them. It makes it easier to play defense. Again, he got bailed out by his defense, which forced a 4-and-out. But do you think they were going to go for 4th down from their own 15 if you punted?
Right.
So you made your defense's job even harder.
Yeah.
So my question to Bill and the post game thing bugged me a little bit too. I was like, that's not what the question was about. The question was about the 9-minute mark, why you didn't kick the field goal. And I just wonder, I asked him a few years ago about using analytics with those types of things, and he completely scoffed at any sort of math being involved. Is it Ernie-lytics? Like, who's responsible now for being in Bill's ear and saying, this is what our chart, whatever it is that they use, whether it's a chart or it's what, if
or
it's
just him doing his feel.
If it's just Bill's gut, then that concerns me. I don't need it to be like some nerd's win probability calculator necessarily, but there has to be like a method to the madness. And if he's just going based off of feel, then that's concerning.
And just to clarify, because there's been a lot of talk about the time. On 3rd and 3 from the 17, they snapped the ball with 10 minutes and 13 seconds left. That's a long way from 6 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's a long way from 6 minutes. Like everybody's like, oh, it was like 9 minutes late. He was off by. No, he was off by 4 minutes. By the time they snapped the ball on 4th down, there was still 9:39 left, not 6 minutes. So either he was talking about something else, or he lost it.
When was because they went for it on 4th down again after that. And they went for it on 4th and 17, right? That was after that.
Yeah, oh yeah. The 4th and 17 was later in the game.
So that was so there was no 4th down that maybe could have been at the 6-minute mark that he was confusing with, because there was 4 of them. So like you weren't really.
4th and 17 happened with 2:24 left in the game.
All right. Well, we've got a lot to talk about still, but Paul's Food's here, so we're going to take a break. Before we do, I just want to remind everyone that Bridgestone is the official tire of the New England Patriots, and Bridgestone tires are now on sale through September 30th at all Sullivan Tire locations. Visit sullivantire.com for a location near you. We got the show within a show coming up. Matt, what are we doing today? Highlight montage. Oh, okay. All right. We will be back after that.
Get in on the action with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New England Patriots. New customers can download the DraftKings app now and play free for millions in prizes using code PATS. That's code PATS only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
One thing I am sure of, and that will never change, is that I am a Patriot for life.
And there's a give up the middle and a big crease through the left side across the 45 with a cut to the outside. Past midfield, tackled by Mapu. Gainwell finished strong last year for the Eagles, had a terrific postseason, and he's got Philly in a 1st down in New England territory after that run. And Hurts with another 1st and 10. from the Patriot 22.
You got to send somebody here.
He works with 2 receivers, right, 2 left, including a tight end on the wing. A fake to the inside. Hurts on the run. Left diagnosed well, and he spills in front of the oncoming Bentley. He goes down for a loss back at the 24.
But they're going to do a lot of these RPOs, and that decision-making's on Jalen Hurts. Accentuate it. Bring somebody from the backside. So that time it's Jalen Mills down in the box. He blocks off that right hand, chases him downhill. Nowhere to go for Hurts. Make him make quicker decisions.
The snap. He's pressured by Judon, who gets to the quarterback with a sack at the 15. The first of 2023 for Matt Judon.
Philadelphia blew the line call here. The right tackle didn't extend at all. He came down with the guard. So whatever the call was from Travis Kelce in the middle, Jason Kelce, his brother, made the call, and it squeezed the tackle down, which freed Judon up.
Empty set, Jones takes the snap. 4-man rush, throw to the near side, ball flutters off the hands of Bourne, picked off, Slay, runs it along the near side past the 50, across the 40, a cut right past Jones, goodbye to the 20, 15-10, he's going to turn and high step it into the end zone for a pick 6.
It's a bad throw. You got all day. You had all day, you're able to step up in the pocket, and he throws a high ball to KB, Kendrick Bourne. When it's raining the way it is now, the ball is slick. You got to have that ball low. That's the second high pass of the game off the deflection. And it's pick 6, great return for a 70-yarder. And now you're fighting uphill again.
Instead, it's a Philly 1st and goal to go just outside the 5. Late in the first, snap to Hurts, design roll to the right, look at the end zone, throws on the go, low throw to the sideline, and the pass is caught for a touchdown. Jalen Hurts connects to Devontae Smith.
Too many mistakes, penalties, and turnovers for touchdowns.
Elliott with another kickoff, high to the goal line, handled by Montgomery, runs it left side of the 10, tie across the 20, a sprint to the 25-30, Montgomery outside the 40-yard line, and Montgomery is shoved out of bounds along the far side in front of the Patriots bench. Ringo with a shove out is the last man back for Philadelphia at the New England 44.
There ain't no flags. All right, you got to do something with this now. 16 zip, get the ball in midfield, can't have a 3 and out.
Now the Patriots stare at a 3rd and 10, down 16-0 here in the first quarter. 2:03 to go. Stevenson shifts to the right of Jones and takes the snap. Eagles rush 4, pocket collapsing. Jones rolls out left, being chased. He throws along the far side, the pass broken up. And again, a dangerous throw, well covered along that far side.
3 now.
Blankenship starting safety for the Eagles with a breakup.
Here come the Bluebirds.
And a buzzkill in Foxborough.
Oh, it's a
After all
buzzkill.
the excitement with Tom Brady on hand, watching this game now from the owner's booth with his family next to the Crafts.
That's getting dressed up, putting on cologne, little deodorant, going to pick the girl up at the house, and the doors are locked and she's not home. Buzzkill.
A second and goal to go from outside the Philadelphia 8 left hash mark. Stevenson in the backfield as Jones takes the snap. He's pressured, throws it left corner of the end zone. Caught by Henry. Touchdown, Patriots!
There you go, captain to captain. First touchdown of the year for Jones and Henry. And it's a good, quick, decisive throw by Jones. He didn't labor, he got it. It's off the back foot, it's a double seam on the left, and it's a 9-yard touchdown.
He takes the snap, he stands in, he fires toward the end zone.
Yeah!
Touchdown, Patriots! A laser by Jones to Kendrick Bourne.
That's the Mac Jones from 2 years ago. Holy smokes, he had mustard on that one. 19-yard dagger off the skinny. Tell you what, Kendrick Bourne can run a skinny post. We haven't seen it since Dallas 2 years ago. That's the one he creased it on. And man, it's bang bang. Bourne knew he had it. Split the coverage. We got a game.
4th down and 8 from the Philadelphia 36. New England in the all nautical blue.
Hey, defense is playing well. Hurts has not been lighting you up. Defense feels pretty good. I like the fact they're going for it here.
Jones steps forward to set the protections, pointing with his left hand. Then he motions Henry to the left with his right hand. He extends the hands. He takes the snap. He stands in. He double punches. He throws it toward Henry.
Oh,
There's
yeah!
the left-handed catch.
What a catch! again. Boy, did Hunter Henry save you right here, because this is a tight window. Jones held on to it. Henry gets hit off the route, catches it off the fingertips, reels it in, and the Patriots are going fast.
Now some hesitation. Gesicki started off the far sideline for the Patriots. He's called back. No sign of the field goal unit here with a 4th down and a long 3 coming up. The ball on the right hash of the Eagles 17.
They already went for it once. Tells you to go looking for points here.
Elliott to the right of Jones. 3 receivers dispersed wide to the left. 1 receiver to the right. The snap to Mac Jones. Back in the pocket. Rolling right. Trying to keep the play alive. He's hit. He throws the ball incomplete to the right flat for Ezekiel Elliott. Hassan Reddick got to the quarterback.
Kendrick Bourne was there.
And the Patriots will turn it over on downs.
Bourne was there. Mack couldn't find him.
Snap to Hurts, play fake, dropping back, pressured by Gonzalez, spins into the turf.
There you go, kid.
A sack for the rookie. He came on the corner blitz and dropped Hurts at the 48.
Sneaky corner blitz.
This is an opportunity for the Eagles place kicker, the veteran Jake Elliott, who followed Steven Gostkowski at Memphis, now in his 7th season, to make it a 2-score game. It'll be a 51-yard try from the near hash. Lovato snap handled by Sipos. The kick is lifted to the uprights right down the middle to make it 25-14. Max Stetson throws to this end zone by Bourne. His 2nd touchdown of the day. On the end line as he comes down with a throw by Jones.
Told you this kid could be a weapon. Don't tell me Mac Jones can't throw seams.
Mac Jones trying to catch his breath with Henry, Smith-Schuster, and Bourne spread out wide side left. Gesicki along with Booty to the right. The snap is back from the 12. Mac throws it to the end zone. It's going to be dropped, nearly intercepted. At the goal line, they had Hunter, Henry, and Gesicki along with Smith-Schuster all in the same vicinity. You got to be careful there, too, because that's the kind of play that can be returned for a score from Philadelphia.
I think we had like a busted route there, because there's no way that both guys end up in the same spot. One's supposed to continue, the other one's supposed to undercut it.
Snap to Hurts. He's going to run through the left side. A gaping hole, and he's thrown by Gonzalez. The ball goes loose. The Patriots have it. A fumble recovery at the 41.
What a dumb call. What are you doing?
And now a 4th down and 12 for the Patriots after the fumble forced on Hurts. 2:24 to go. 25-20. Pats still have all 3 timeouts left, plus the 2-minute warning. Elliott to the right of Jones. Mack takes the snap. Timeout taken.
Well, I can't believe what a 4th down already.
A late timeout just before the snap.
We're good. Delay game. Offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
I thought as the back judge dropped the flag, now we see the flag drop to the turf of the delay game. I thought Philadelphia was calling the timeout.
Yeah, I did too.
And so now the Patriots are looking at a 4th down at 17. Snap is back. Jones stands in, slides right, moves up, throws it right. Henry there, he can't make the catch through his hands at the 35. He likely would have been tackled short of the line to gain.
I'm sorry, it's still not good enough. It's still not good enough. I mean, you're 4th and 12, you got to get to the sticks. Or 4th and 17, you got to get to the sticks.
This is the game right here. Philadelphia 25, the Patriots 20. Exactly 2 minutes to go. Scott in the backfield to the left of Hurts. 1 receiver left, 3 to the right, wide side of the field. Jalen Hurts leans forward, stomps the right foot, does the deep knee bend. Patriots crowd the line. Hurts again. Now he takes the snap. He's looking to throw. Slings it across the middle. Ball got it down. Diving deflection by Gonzalez.
What are they
Breaks
doing?
up a pass thrown for Smith. And the Patriots with one more opportunity. Snap to Jones, 4-man rush. Max stands in. Throws it left for Booty.
Got it.
Catch made along the near sideline.
Rookie.
They say he's in bounds. A perfect throw on target and on time to the Philadelphia 8.
Get up and get a play. Let's go. Get up and snap it.
Eagles are out of timeouts, but remember, reviews initiated from the booth. And I don't think that left foot got in bounds. And that's the
The
second
ruling
time
on the
today.
field of a completed pass is under further review.
It's the second time today that the young receiver, the rookie from LSU, has been unable to get that second foot down.
The receiver did not get the second foot in bounds. The pass is incomplete. It's a turnover on downs. It's first down for Philadelphia.
Victory formation. Hurts takes the snap, drops to the right knee, and the final 24 seconds will elapse in the season opener. And the defending NFC champions survive as the Patriots stumbled out of the gate, fell behind 16-0, staged a late rally, gave themselves various opportunities to overtake the Eagles in the second half, and again they come up short, 25-20.
Patriots Unfiltered is brought to you by the Massachusetts Office of Travel and Tourism. Great memories are made in Massachusetts, no matter how you choose to make them. Indoors or outdoors, scenic views or city vibes, solo or family style, whatever moves you, whatever the season, plan your perfect Massachusetts getaway at visitma.com. All right, we're back. That was the mashup. Who did the mashup this week? Matt LePan did the mashup. So, Zoe had some interesting observations during the game. Yeah.
Saw a lot of things live.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
That's an NFL quarterback. You know.
Should see a lot of things live.
Should see those things.
855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline. Web radio at patriots.com is the email address. Rick in Dallas says, I watched the game on Sunday and walked away feeling good. They held on all game with one of the best teams in the league. I went to work yesterday and proudly defended my team and how optimistic I felt as the season progresses. I even came up with a scenario where the Patriots could actually be in first place by week 3. I excitedly clicked on the Patriots app at 11 a.m. my time, looking forward to another great episode of Patriots Unfiltered. Reality is no fun. I get that everything the group is saying is accurate. I even get that the insights are probably correct. But I'm going to keep living in my fantasy world. Everything is fine. The defense looked great. The offense looked improved. This is going to be a good season. If I keep saying it with my eyes shut, eventually it'll be true. Good.
I think that that both things can be true.
Yeah.
The defense did look great.
I thought the defense looked great.
The offense did look better. I just think it's back to Paul's point of just consistency and just overall ceiling. Like is better. Can you do this for more than just one quarter? Like offensively,
and that's to me what I would pump the brakes on the defense. The offense was this improvement. I mean, did it look better at times? Yeah, but I think overall it was very similar to what we saw a lot of times last year.
Yeah, for me, I think you can tell that they are all kind of more on the same page now.
The
execution wasn't there.
You like it better, so when they throw a touchdown pass, when two guys are standing in the same spot, Matt Patricia didn't call the play.
I don't know.
And that's what happened.
But that's
like there were two guys in the same spot.
I know, but that's just become I feel like that's a talk radio buzz thing of two guys are too close to each other. I don't know what the route spacing is.
He's making fun of you.
No. I agree with you to an extent that the spacing thing does get overblown a little bit. They actually ran the same exact play out to the other side on Kendrick Bourne's touchdown later in the game, and the two receivers ended up in the same spot again.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's just the design of the play.
Growing pains in a functional offense versus nobody has any idea what they're doing and everyone's just kind of freelancing. That's where I see the difference. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
The route running and the spacing and all of the was significantly better than last year. I look at the Kendrick Bourne's first touchdown. That entire play was the scheme, the bunch formation, the way the routes were run, the timing of it, all of that was the spacing. That was pretty. That was
extrapolated.
That was a lot better than anything they've put on film last year.
Andy in Cleveland says, Paul, if I heard him right, I don't think Belichick meant to imply there were 6 minutes on the clock when he went for it. I think he means he went for it because he didn't realize at the time that the Eagles were going to give us more chances with 6 minutes left. Unless he literally meant what I'm saying, but slyly said it weird so some people might forget the situation and think he meant your version.
Yeah, I think that people have tried to make that argument that you just made. I do not think that that's what he meant. I think he was trying to sort of downplay it.
Becca in Walpole, I don't understand the negativity about the offense. 2 horrible mistakes in awful weather. They were dead but clawed back and had an opportunity to win if Bill took a field goal. Last year, they lost a lot of winnable games and were there at the end to get into the playoffs. People seem to forget the Vikings game, which was another winnable game. They did all of this with a defensive coordinator calling the shots. They have better offensive weapons, especially if they use the weapons they just chose to ignore last year, in a capable coordinator. I think people are really counting them out when they shouldn't be. I listened to both Jets and Bills local radio this morning, both saying it's a two-horse race in the East. Nobody is even considering the Patriots, which I think is a mistake. Defense is great, too. I'm ordering my Keon White jersey.
There you go.
No, it is a two-horse race, but it's the Patriots and the Miami Dolphins.
Right, it's just for the title.
He
this
really
weekend.
wants us to respond to that one.
Yeah.
You got
Fred is
anything?
hilarious.
There's the beginning part of the email. I don't remember exactly what was said, but I just don't know. I guess I just don't share in the optimism because
for some reason everybody is fixating on the 2 turnovers and they're forgetting the numerous 3 and outs.
Right.
Like
that's
really,
where I was headed with it.
Who do you think played better offensively on Sunday, the Eagles or the Patriots?
Eagles.
Who do you think?
Played better?
Offensively.
I think the Patriots might have played better.
I think the Patriots played better too. Do you think the Patriots played better than the Eagles?
Yeah. It was
Who do you
pretty
think
close,
punted
but-
more?
Probably the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's also
like-
just the last 2 drives have to matter too, right? Like
And the
fact
first 5 have to matter too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they had a great, and I don't mean good, they had a great stretch in the last half of the second quarter where they went boom, boom.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow.
Yeah, I think
Except for they did nothing the remainder of the game.
Well, if the offense played great, they would have won the game. It obviously didn't play great, but I just saw signs of improvement. I'm encouraged.
That's fine. I think is a very balanced way of looking at it.
Yeah.
This improved weapons
No.
when the guy you let go had 9 for 81 and 2 touchdowns to get replaced by, I think this might be a good time to serve up Evan by Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh.
Like,
I also think
Sharpen
this
up the
show
knives.
is called Patriots Unfiltered, and if you wanted fluff, it would be called Patriots Fluff Filtered, but it's not. It's unfiltered, and so therefore, I think that everyone's entitled to their own opinions.
In this time of transition with this franchise, we owe it to fans to be honest. What we honestly feel.
and I would say that I honestly feel there were a lot of things to be encouraged about offensively on Sunday. I do. I honestly feel that. However, don't use last year and put the bar down there as your barometer. Use the NFL as a barometer. Did they play good offense for the NFL? Probably not.
Kyle and Pembroke, Evan, the optimism comes from our QB throwing 300 yards and 3 touchdowns on the rare day. On the rare day, our running game was shut down. Can you say in good confidence that Stevenson will constantly be held to 2 yards a carry? Can you say in good confidence that you don't think the offense will continue to improve under O'Brien as it gets more time
Can
together?
you say in confidence that Mac Jones will only turn it over once and throwing the ball 54 times?
And it continues to get healthier? I usually like your takes, but this Debbie Downer stuff is rare for you.
I don't even think what Evan said was being like a Debbie Downer.
You were wondering where the static was. You got it now.
I think Evan's being real. I mean, this offense, if it keeps going down this road, could end up being really predictable by week 6. So I think that Evan is just, preparing everyone for what could potentially come.
You can take your 300 yards and do you know what with it because it means nothing. It means nothing. How many points did they score? What did they do when it mattered most? Those are the 2 things that matter to me. How he could throw for 500 yards, and it wouldn't matter to me if he had 2 chances to win the game in the end and failed both times.
Fred, what do you think the zeitgeist, because I know you like to listen to the zeitgeist, thinks, the New England zeitgeist thinks of Tua?
Overrated.
Right. He threw for 466 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I know.
So you think he stinks. When I say you, I don't mean Fred. I mean the zeitgeist. Yeah. They think Tua stinks. He threw for 466 and led a last-minute touchdown drive to win a game with 36 points. And you think he stinks, but I'm supposed to just stop everything because Mac threw for 300 yards and scored 20 points and lost.
Ben in Brooklyn writes, I was at the Cincy game, and some folks are comparing Sunday's loss to that in that the Patriots were right there but couldn't get the job done. I see it differently. If you made a list of all the issues we've had in recent years, can't stop mobile quarterback, can't limit elite receivers, lack of sideline-to-sideline speed, no pass rush, complete lack of organization on offense.
No pass rush last year?
Born in the doghouse.
Just let it go.
No tight end production, questions about the O-line. It seems like we've made progress in most of these areas. The game also reminded me of some of those early Bledsoe games. Far from perfect, but you could see the start of something.
This is not the start.
So if you just replace Bledsoe or Mac with
Careful.
Tom Brady,
Careful.
then
I
we're
think
golden.
it is the start. It's a new start.
I think
after last year, it's a new start.
Well, then you're going to have to do it with a whole new cast of characters because you're going to lose a lot of these pieces, Fred.
Right.
I know, but it's a new start in that it's a real offense.
Henry, Bourne, Gesicki, Trent Brown, Onwenu. You have a chance to lose half your offense. Like this should be the where you want to be, not where you're going.
It should be, but it isn't. So we
Right,
have to
so-
deal with what we have.
No, I know. So you try to make the best of it, but like this whole new beginning thing is not accurate.
It's a new beginning.
They have 20-something pending free agents.
Okay.
But we're also in year 3 of Mac Jones being the quarterback of the offense, and the silver linings and the oh well they were close, or they did some things well. Like at some point that has to.
I
The
mean,
moral victories are getting old.
Yeah, I'm going to
Old.
pop over to the defense, though, and I feel really good about the defense. I feel like this is a little bit of a new beginning. I think with Christian Barmore kind of elevating, playing early down snaps, we all saw what Keon White did, which was just kind of an appetizer, I feel like, for what he's going to be able to do. I just think Christian Gonzalez, these are the kind of players that you need to build an elite defense, and these are 3 rookies that all got in there right out from the get-go. So, you're seeing the older defensive linemen, which I think skews some of what we talk about with it. Those guys are kind of pulling back a little bit. Certainly Godshaw's still in the middle of it. But, you're starting to see Keon White. You're starting to see more Jelani Tavai, who I like as a player. So I think you don't like him.
I don't, but I do.
Keon White was great.
Keon White is a promising guy. I definitely agree with that. I would absolutely, and this is my whole thing on the defense. This is what I just wrote about too for this morning. This is the part that I will agree with all the optimism with the fans.
Me too.
Is like people said, someone I think just wrote in and said it was similar to the Cincinnati game, and I don't think this had anything like the Cincinnati game except for the way it ended. They got dominated for 60 minutes by the Bengals, and the Bengals just kept handing them opportunities to do things. Picks, the offense couldn't do a thing. It was 420 some odd yards of offense to 200. It was 28 first down. Like the Bengals completely controlled the game, but they kept making mistakes that allowed the Patriots to. That's not what happened on Sunday. The Patriots controlled the Eagles' offense for 60 minutes. That to me is a huge difference. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that since Brady left.
Yeah,
it's a really good defense.
Great, and Keon White beat Lane Johnson twice, and that is the best right tackle in football. So the fact that he was able to beat him twice,
I think he would say he had plenty of fun.
What stood out to me is just his athleticism. Like when he has to stop, change direction, and chase a guy. He can move for a big dude. I mean, that jumps out to me. What do they got planned for him? I asked Mayo a little bit about him today, but I just think, I don't want to say the sky's the limit, but I think he could be a very, very good player.
That play where he puts Mailata on skates, walks him right back into Hurts, then Hurts breaks the pocket, and he just puts his foot in the ground and chases him into the sideline. And I was like, whoa. That's a freak. Like that, you can't do that with
and the tackling was really, really good, especially for early season.
Yeah, and Bill mentioned that too. He was pleased with the tackling.
Yeah.
Pat Nagwam says, I value and respect all of your opinions, but Evan, I have to respectfully disagree with you regarding this offense having to have everything perfect in order for it to be effective. How about they just don't dig themselves into a big hole that they can't get out of? Mac was right after the game.
How many times are you going to like?
That's the definition of perfect.
But also the thing is that stuff happens in sports. You make mistakes. You fall behind. You give up a pick six. You go 3 and out for the first. Like this. That's football. And if you have a team that can only play from ahead when things are going well for you, and the game script follows a certain script, and that's the only way that you can win, then that's problematic. Like, you have to be able to overcome mistakes. And I feel like we always just forget that over 20 years, we think that everything was just perfect all the time. They overcame mistakes. Brady would throw picks, and they would overcome it.
28-3. Are there other teams like this in the NFL? Like, we've been kind of watching the same script we've been talking about for a couple years now, that the Patriots are a good team that beats the bad teams. When they play a good team and things don't go right, they struggle. I can't off the top of my head really think of another NFL team that kind of plays that way. Like, I don't know. Just it seems like such a kind of unique thing to them. Maybe not.
Average teams? I think there are a lot of them. I think there's a lot of average teams in the league. That's probably the biggest chunk of.
Well,
but are they average because they're just inconsistent and they play good in one week and they don't play good the other week? And, it's like, because I think the Patriots are a well-coached team. I think that teams around the league respect them. But, it's like you're hearing all the Eagles say all these things like, that's a great defense, that's a great, and I'm like, well, why can't they beat the good teams then? Like that's what the hang-up is.
Yeah, I mean, I would look at the the stuff. The perfect, the guy says, he's takes issue with Evan saying that everything has to be perfect. And then he says, if they didn't make the mistakes at the beginning. That's Evan's point, is everything needs to be perfect because if they make a mistake or two, they can't overcome it. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, 0-12 when you allow 25 or more points is what it is. That's a fact. That's not a lot of points in the NFL, 25.
Let's get back to the phones. We'll go to Christian and Dan. Is this Chris with a T-I-A-N?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What's up?
I was feeling pretty good after Sunday, and then I listened to the first 90 minutes of the show.
I know.
Calls, and now I'm not so much.
Yeah. Yep.
I brought the energy in the post-game show.
Yes, you did. I think, Evan, you're talking about where's the optimism coming from, just because we're so starved from what we saw last year on offense. And Fred repeatedly came on the show and said, what we're watching is not an NFL offense. And you look at Billy O and you know that that's a guy that's done it, and there's hope there. And I think that's what we're all latching on to, is that the hope of getting better. And I'm with you. I don't care that Mac threw for 300-plus yards. The start of the game, you had those 3 drives. I think they went 3 plays, and they had 3 drives in a row, but they had 3 plays, and they barely got 11 or 12 yards or something total. That's frustrating. Positively for me, a lot of the rookies play, which I loved. The offensive line, I don't think anybody saw them going box to wire, playing all 80 snaps. So, I come out of that feeling pretty good. That's where, and the defense, obviously, too. Like Paul said, the defense hasn't made those types of stops when they needed to in years, really. Going all the way back probably to the last Super Bowl they won. So I think there's room for improvement, and I feel a little bit better than I did. Not necessarily the 7-8 win, but maybe closer to 9 or 10 if they just start to gel, and that's where I'm coming from on it. And Fred, can I say something about the halftime ceremony?
Sure.
I wept like a baby when he said a Patriot for life. I'm not going to lie. It was Niagara Falls at the Simonelli household. I loved it. I was hoping, though, that there was going to be more of an announcement of, whether it was a jersey retirement or, that they were going to have, an announcement that they're going to put, the statue of, the size of the Statue of Liberty out in front of the lighthouse or something. Yeah. I was hoping for a little bit more like that. And I know you only had 13 minutes, like you said. You got to get the stage off and on the field, all that stuff post-game. But I kind of was just hoping for a little more, and I know there's going to be the ceremony on the 12th of June, but I was kind of hoping for a little bit more.
I just don't think they know, beyond having this event on the 12th, I don't think they know what, and putting him into the Hall of Fame, they don't know what they want to do, whether it's a statue or all that stuff. They don't want to retire his number because I know they want to get rid of those. There's too many people with retired numbers that shouldn't have their numbers retired on this team. So that whole tradition, I think they want to get rid of that instead of extending it. But in terms of what they want to do, I don't think they know yet.
We're going to have a brainstorm about that?
We might, yeah. We should.
Ideas. I got some thoughts.
Yeah, we should.
All right, everybody, thanks.
All right.
I appreciate Christian laying out where the optimism comes from, because I think some people just say, well, I'm optimistic, and it's why?
And that's fine.
And that's good.
And that's how I was in the postgame show, right? To be fair, I mean, I thought there was more to be optimistic about Sunday than the other way.
I went into this game, and I didn't think that I was going to see Mac throw for 3 touchdowns. I don't.
But why? You've never seen that before?
Because I didn't think they'd be ready for that yet. I didn't think the offense would come out and be able to do that yet.
I feel like
especially with the state of the offensive line.
I just the bar is so incredibly low. You didn't expect them to be able to score 3 touchdowns. I don't understand
I didn't
that.
say score 3 touchdowns.
So they had to be throws for you to be encouraged.
I think
it wouldn't be encouraging if Ramondre Stevenson had 3 1-yard touchdown runs.
No, but
definitely not.
This season,
I don't get it.
This season is predicated on the play of Mac Jones offensively.
Yeah.
The fact that he comes out in the first game and throws for 3 touchdowns to me is encouraging. It's encouraging.
It'd be more encouraging if they scored 35 points and he threw for 3 touchdowns. That's all I'm saying.
But I didn't expect that either. Again, this is a new start for this offense, in my opinion.
Okay, I just don't see it that way. It's the same system they've been in.
I think it'd be encouraging if Mac was a rookie, but he's not, and it's year 3, and we really need to see improvement at this point.
I know,
and
but was last year a lost year or not?
And patting the Patriots on the back for having an offensive coordinator. Having an offensive coordinator and running an actual offense or somewhat of an offense.
So last year when he went 28 for 39 for 382 and 3 touchdowns, that was a lost year because a defensive coordinator was calling the plays.
Oh, but it wasn't?
I don't think it was a lost year. I think that he didn't play that well. I don't give him the out that everybody else does. That's different. That's why my bar is not down on the floor like everybody else's is.
So you're not blaming Matt Patricia?
I blame Matt Patricia. Sure, we can't have more than one guy at fault.
No, I sure he didn't play well, but it was a lost year in terms of his development.
Right, and according to a lot of people, that would be the consensus opinion.
And do you
it's
agree?
Not mine. No.
You think he should have gotten better last year under Matt Patricia?
I think he should have played better than he did. Yes.
Right.
And I think he showed that in the second half of the year compared to the first half of the year when he did play better than he did. He did improve down the stretch. And I know no one wants to hear that because that's not fitting with the narrative. But if you look at the second half of the year, his numbers were light years better than they were in the first half.
I think that you can improve individually without the results actually being better. And what I wanted to see was Mac take last year as that learning experience of what did go wrong and what did go right and what he does need to work on, and then just do it now in a much better offense. I'll give them on Sunday, the film is so much cleaner than it was last year in terms of just the overall operation of the offense, the route running, the spacing, the timing, all the little intricate details that I nerd out about, all that stuff was so much better than last year. You can just tell that when they say to break this route off at 12 yards, they don't let guys get away with breaking it off at 10 anymore. We said 12, so break it off at 12. And that's happening again, which is positive. But I just think it comes back to, at the end of the day, do they have enough talent? Do they have the talent to do more than just run the scheme and make it look like a presentable NFL offense? To Paul's point, that's on the floor. That bar of just
they may not. But I'm just talking about Mac right now. I didn't think I'd come into this game. I thought the offense would struggle, and it did in the first half, but it got better in the second half, And
they scored 6 points in the second half.
I just thought that Mac.
I'm just giving you the facts.
Yeah, I just thought Mac looked better.
I mean, they took over twice at the other team's 40-yard line with the game on the line and couldn't score.
He improved as the game went on, but they were in a tough position. They put themselves in a tough position, and they were always chasing. And
so my point is, if we just keep saying he got better as the game went on and ignore the fact that his best play was in the second quarter, then what are we doing?
Well, it's week 1.
I didn't say he played badly. I said on Sunday when we talked about it in the postgame show, Mac was the least of your problems in this game. You didn't lose this game because of Mac Jones, but you also didn't win it because of Mac Jones.
Sure. And
he didn't do what he needed to do. And to say that he got better as the game went on is not accurate. They scored 6 points in the second half. Despite taking over in plus territory twice, they scored 6 points.
Yeah. So, and that was because of his play?
I didn't say it was because of his play. I'm talking about the offense in general.
So put it in context, Paul.
Okay, well, on fourth down, he couldn't complete passes. That's the context. So if you want to put that on Mac Jones, put it on Mac Jones.
The ball was right there, and people
Not
say
on 4th and 3, it wasn't.
I'm talking about the long 4th down that was to Bourne down the middle.
That was 3rd down.
Or whatever.
Okay.
But,
that was a good throw.
It was
a good throw.
It was a good throw to Booty.
He made 3 really good throws in this game.
That was one of them. Sometimes
Whoa. Have him repeat that.
What?
He made 3 really good throws in the game, and that's one of them.
Yeah. Oh, only 3 good throws?
Yeah, he made 3 good throws.
Okay, including the touchdowns?
The touchdown to Kendrick Bourne was a good throw. The touchdown to Hunter Henry was a good throw. And the throw you just mentioned was a good throw.
And no other good throws?
All the other throws were throws that every quarterback in the league can make.
Okay.
In terms of like those,
I'm not taking it that far.
Those high level wow PFF calls them big time throws, whatever you want to call them. PFF gave him 4. They gave him the Demario Douglas corner route too.
I liked that throw.
That was a BTT, big time throw. So he had 4 big time throws in this game. By not just my grading, by their grading as well. That means all the other completions that he had in this game, they feel like every starting quarterback in the league makes.
So?
I'm just telling you.
So he made them.
Yeah. I'm not holding it against him.
So now style points. Now we're giving him lower marks because they weren't big time throws.
No, I'm not giving him lower marks because I'm giving him lower marks because they didn't score points.
Yeah,
I'm really tricky with that. If they scored a lot of points, I usually give the offense credit,
and that's fine. But listen, again, I think that there's enough to build on here.
I would agree.
I
would agree. But I don't think that they showed this tremendous improvement. They were better.
Okay, again, putting words in my mouth. Did I ever say tremendous improvement?
Yeah, I think you did.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I never did.
Well, you phrase it the way you want to phrase it.
I said I was encouraged. I think there's things to build on.
Yeah, you also said he got better as the game went on.
Yeah,
he didn't.
I do. I think he got more confidence. I absolutely do. I think that he's got to have help. Booty's got to make that catch. Bourne's got to make that catch. You can't. Our quarterback can't throw it and catch it all by himself.
Does Hunter Henry have to make that catch on 4th and 8?
Well, those are the kind of things you need.
It's a great catch.
Exactly.
It's a great catch.
When you don't have the guy, those are the kinds of things you need.
You need.
And sometimes you're going to get them. Once
by
Hunter
the
Henry
way,
did it on 3rd down.
Even the greatest quarterback in the ever needed that once in a while too.
Yeah, but they need it to win games.
You would think
they're going to lose if they don't get those plays.
Yeah,
and Hunter Henry made one of them and extended a drive, and then when they had the next 4th down and they needed extended, he couldn't make a play.
I think even Tom Brady had some help once in a while from his receivers.
Yeah, they're very similar. They're very similar guys.
But they're
very similar. There's a lot of similarities.
The head coach here seems to ignore the fact that Rob Gronkowski used to play for this football team. Like that to me is like I try to treat it as 2 different things. Like that's like an off-season topic to me of like the team building and that sort of aspect where as for this game, I'm just like grading the film of this particular game. But you can make that argument that I would make it with you. Like the fact of the matter is that they didn't do enough to put enough talent around him. Now, is that because Mac's not good enough to elevate the talent? Probably. But that you still have to call a spade a spade. And if you think that Mac Jones is going to make Hunter Henry and Kendrick Bourne and Kayshon Boutte and all these guys that they have out there elevate them to this level, then you're lying to yourself.
Well, I never said that.
No, I know. I'm just saying that that's how they built the roster. They built the roster thinking that the quarterback was going to be able to do enough with the weapons that they put around him, and the weapons aren't good enough for this quarterback. I think for some quarterbacks, they might be. But for this quarterback in particular, it's not.
It'd be nice if half of them were playing,
Well, maybe now we can talk about Juju.
Half of
them. We can.
Didn't play.
It's not going to be. People are getting on me for being negative. It's not going to be positive.
I think like part of this, Fred, was like last week we were all saying like we have hope. If you can't be positive right now, when can you be?
Second round pick.
Oh, Fred, come on.
Well, he hasn't played. He's supposed to be the guy
This is the guy that people wanted to cut because they liked Demario Douglas.
I know,
better.
but the fact
now you missed him on Sunday.
The bottom line
is the fact is you had a second round pick who's not playing.
Demario
From 2
Douglas,
years ago.
How many snaps can you give Demario Douglas? Because there is not a number that is too many. He needs to be on the field for.
I think they will increase
75 plus.
I think they
snaps
will increase
a game because Douglas and Bourne are the 2 guys that are dynamic. They're the 2 guys that run dynamic routes, that are good with the ball in their hands. They're the 2 guys that are quote unquote explosive in your offense. The guy that you signed from Kansas City in free agency does not qualify. So if by the end of the year, Douglas is ready to take on more and more and more as the year progresses, I would play Pop Douglas over Juju right now.
So
I would.
We can move on from one of our typical Paul Fred semantic arguments and go to what to make of Juju's lack of usage.
Yeah.
You know, once that 4th down play happened, the 4th and 3 with 10 minutes to go, not 6. From that point on, he didn't play a whole lot. What do you guys make of that?
It's a good question.
I mean, look, we said coming in, I haven't been impressed with him. He didn't really practice at all, right, in OTAs. We never saw him in OTAs. We finally got to see him in training camp. Never really looked explosive, kind of reserved judgment because felt like he's a tackle breaker. He's a guy, real football, he'll show up. I was discouraged.
Well, doesn't it start with the reports about his knee?
I mean, and that's what I wonder. I wonder,
how true are they?
Is he injured or is he washed?
He certainly looks to me like he's injured.
But
he doesn't run well.
Get better later on in the season, injured, or this is what he is.
Right? Are they monitoring him now?
I think this is what he is.
But if they're monitoring him, then I would think that you'd save him for the end. Like it seems the opposite. Like they couldn't use him at the end.
If he,
of the game, you mean?
If he was if his route running was good and his hands were good, the fact that he doesn't have the burst that he used to have wouldn't be that concerning. But the part that was most concerning to me in this game was I don't think he was really running the right routes all the time. And so on the 3rd down play at the beginning of the game where the ball went through his hands, everybody and myself included watched that play and was like, Mac short-armed it, right? Like there wasn't enough velocity on the ball.
He did a little, but it still was catchable.
It was the wrong route.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. I don't know that for a fact. It's just a theory. But when you watch the play, the corner's sitting outside of Juju, and I think Mac is expecting him to return back into the middle of the field and cut back inside when he makes that cut, and Juju continue to cut outside. And you look at the reason, I think it was partially because he dropped it, but also because Bill O'Brien on the sideline after the play looks disgusted. Like throws his hands like this and just
he didn't play a lot, right?
And just walks away.
And that could be why it could be less the knee and more he's not on the same page.
Right. And then on the 4th and 3 play.
Okay, so we're talking about a different play. Okay, go ahead.
This was early, 3rd down early in the game that with the ball he
the
low
one
it.
that he dropped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
4th down play late in the game. They put him in the weak spot in their empty formation, which is might not have been empty, but they put him in their weak spot, which is the playmaker spot. That's the spot we're going to get you a matchup. You're going to go one-on-one against somebody, and we're going to expect you to win the route. And Juju was in that spot, and he ran a lazy route. He just didn't make a move off the line of scrimmage, didn't really do anything to get open, and Mac had to hold the ball, and that's when the play broke down, and we have the whole thing. I really was concerned about this film for Juju. I mean, he caught a pass in the flat, and he had one-on-one with some space, and just got tackles. Like he tried to make a move and just couldn't go around the guy. I'm not ready to write it off because it's one game, but this was concerning.
I gotta not give Paul a little nod because I felt like when they traded him, when they got him and let Myers walk. Initially it felt like, all right, he's got a little bit more juice than Myers. It's like, how can you swap somebody for Myers and somehow you got slower? Like I don't know. I really don't know if this is salvageable with him, if he's going to get better and that he'll start to come on. But like mental mistakes, health issues, I don't know.
I was just looking, and listen, Evan's right. It's one game, so I'm not taking any victory lap. But my feeling was they had virtually the identical stats. Mm-hmm. I want to say it was 12.3 per catch. They both averaged 12 yards per catch. And somehow Juju's were considered to be far more impressive because he averaged more after the catch, which is great if they're both averaging 12 yards per air and then Myers is going down and Juju's getting 10 more yards. But if they're averaging the same amount every time they catch the pass, why does anybody care if you're just catching it and getting tackled or catching it 3 yards from the line of scrimmage and running 9 yards? It's resulting in a 12-yard gain on average. I didn't really understand
the thought was that Bill O'Brien is a yak coordinator, right? Like he's the guy that sets up the yak, and you thought that he was going to be like a catch-and-run player. But I'll say this for Jacoby, who I was in favor of signing Juju over Jacoby. I was. That 4th and 3, Jacoby gets open. Jacoby gets open. Like, because it's not, they're not asking him to create this like 60-yard explosive play down the field. They're asking him to get 4 yards.
Yeah,
and Jacoby makes a move and gets open.
And in terms of that kind of player, since the second year in the league, I've never, and that's when he got the really bad knee injury. After that year, he had like 100 and some odd catches for like 1,400 yards. He hasn't been that kind of an explosive guy since he came back from that knee injury, and that's not just like 2 years ago. We're going back 5 years now. In that offense last year in Kansas City with Mahomes, 12 yards a catch is what it was. He had a lot more space to work with. And I just feel like he's not an explosive player anymore. And I didn't think he was an explosive player last year where I saw it. Now, I'm not trying to tell you that I think Myers is. I don't think he is either. But, again, I am not necessarily more impressed by a guy who catches screens and runs 12 yards as opposed to a guy who catches a pass that goes 12 yards.
All right, let's quickly hit on these phone calls before the end of the show. David's in New York. What's up, David?
David.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for holding on.
All right. So I got a couple bones to pick here respectfully with Evan and Paul. Who should I go for first?
You can lump them in together.
Yeah, you can go to me first.
Two peas in a pod.
We're pretty
Two
similar
peas in a
on
negative
this, so,
pod.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I think Evan's
okay.
more pessimistic than I am.
Probably. I grew up with Brady,
So
so,
for
it's
Paul,
hard.
since you're keeping receipts here today for arguments, I have to bring up something that you said in the postgame show.
Okay.
On Sunday. You had a response to people saying that they've seen this movie play out in regards to the final drive, the mounting the comeback, not being able to complete it after being down multiple scores.
I do remember saying that.
You said you haven't seen that played out.
Not like it did on Sunday was my point. Yes, I did say that. I remember.
I don't know, though. I disagree a little bit because it was kind of like the Dallas game, kind of like, not the same as the Cincinnati game, kind of like the Raiders game, kind of like the Tampa Bay game. It all seemed like the same sort of ending to me.
Yeah, you're unquestionably right. You're unquestionably right in terms of the way the game ended. Dallas had about 550 yards of offense, turned the ball over 110 times, 3 of them in the end zone. They should have won the game by about 4 touchdowns. Tampa is a different story because it was a torrential rainstorm. I guess you could say it was kind of similar to this, but I don't think the rain had much of an impact on this game on Sunday. I think it did have some impact on the Tampa game. Cincinnati and some of these other games, I didn't feel like the defense played very well. I thought they were flat out terrible in that Dallas game from a couple of years ago.
Like
I thought the defense was really, really bad that day. I felt like the defense was excellent on Sunday, and that's the part that you're right. At the end of the game, it was very similar. Patriots trying to get over the hump, falling short, kicking ourselves at the end with all the mistakes that we made. I get it. That's fair.
Tampa's a close one.
Tampa would be closer. Tampa would be closer.
Yeah, real quick for Evan, I have to say I didn't expect this show from you, Evan, today because using explosiveness and big time throws is your main argument for why we should not be.
That wasn't my main
the
argument.
Offense
points.
That was like an hour and a half into the show.
So the other thing that I heard you say that you keep bringing up is, you'll mention a couple throws that Mac missed, or you could have thrown better. It'll be like Josh Allen would have made that throw, or Josh Allen would have made this throw that Mac didn't. It's kind of contradictory to what kind of quarterback you specifically have been preaching that we should have, which is a guy who doesn't make mistakes, doesn't turn the ball over and is safe with the football. When we just saw proof of what Josh Allen is last night.
Okay, whoa. That's proof of what he is?
What he can be.
I mentioned Josh Allen once on the 4th down play because I thought that Josh Allen take any Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Patrick, take any quarterback that you want that can move a little bit and throw on the move and make those second reaction plays. I thought that they would have hit Kendrick Bourne on that play. That's it. That's all I was saying. But in terms of the big time throws and stuff like that, we were just talking about that, the good throws that he made. That's not my main argument. My main argument for Mac is, again, that I feel like he has to be so buttoned up on all the details of his game to maximize the physical stuff that he doesn't have. And in order to do that, you are towing a really, really thin line where you have to be perfect.
And you're saying it would
Right.
You're saying it'd be nice once in a while to have those big plays.
It would also just
Right,
be.
but-
It's also just really, really hard to be as sharp as he needs to be all the time, and that's why this offense to me feels like it's such a roller coaster every game. Is because in order to be as perfect and every like pinpoint detail that he needs to be perfect in for 60, 70 plays a game, like good luck. Like that's a really hard thing to do. I think only a couple quarterbacks have really done that, and they happen to have one for 20 years.
Thanks for the call, Dave. Let's go to Chad in L.A. What's up, Chad?
Hey, how you guys?
Hey, Chad.
Hey.
Hey, I'm 100% on board with Evan. I think we are a 500 team. I think we're not going to get past 30 points unless we get a defensive score. And I go back to the clutch conversation you guys had earlier. What's Mac Jones's identity? When he was drafted, we were sold on intelligence and mobility. How has he shown that so far?
I don't think mobility. I think accuracy probably.
Intelligence and accuracy. I think he has shown that. I think he doesn't make a lot of really egregiously bad decisions.
No, and when he can have some time,
Yeah.
he's accurate.
I think he's a great decision maker. Like
I think
Thanks,
that.
Chad.
this film had really not a whole lot of like head scratching. Like where is he going with the ball? Like the intent of the throws that he made were really good. I just don't always think the throws are really good. Like I think that sometimes the ball dies on him, especially going into the sideline, and that
He has a real hard time outside the numbers, unless it's down the field.
That
leads, where you can
leads to some incompletions
Right.
or tougher catches, or like if you keep this guy on his feet instead of making him go down to catch the ball, maybe there's yards after the catch available, like stuff like that.
Todd's in North Carolina. What's up, Todd?
Hey guys.
Hey.
I kind of on the same thing as Fred. I got a warm fuzzy feeling by seeing Mac not die in the pocket and actually make some throws. But my feeling is that this team is the way that the team is being built by Bill is he doesn't believe that it's important for the players to elevate each other. He believes that the coaching is what's supposed to be doing that. And I think that's why Brady got so frustrated when his last year's here is that Bill just does things his way, and he hasn't adapted and he hasn't evolved to the game. He doesn't realize you need playmakers to try to bring up your entire team. And he's always been saying, hey, I got my middle class. If I got my middle class, I'm good to go. And on offense especially, that doesn't work. And I'm just curious as to what you guys think. Is he going to be able to, get over the hump? And I don't know if he'll do it with Mac or if he needs somebody else there. But, he seems to think that that the coaches can make something happen with whatever they got. And I just feel that is a big, big drawback for his style and the team in general.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
We went into this season and I think so much of what our conversations were about were exactly what played out on Sunday. And I think that's where why I'm so frustrated about it is because we said, yeah, it'll look better and they'll score more points or they'll be more efficient offensively. But when it's third and whatever and they need a play, do they have a quarterback and do they have receivers that can go out and make a play? Right. And it played out exactly like that.
Let's see. Cody writes in, last year was absolutely a lost year. It was a fireable offense by any other person in the league, not named Bill Belichick, if they would have made that decision to let Patricia run an offense. A lost year plus no talent on offense is going to make it impossible to win shootouts of any kind of game where they need drives and playmaking. If the 49ers drafted Mac Jones instead of Trey Lance 3 years ago, the 49ers may be on a three-peat watch. It matters who is coaching, what playmakers you have. Mac Jones has had below-average situation in both categories.
Do we really think that? I've heard that said a lot. That,
I don't.
That the 49ers would be a dynasty right now if they had Mac Jones.
I don't think it because I think at some point to win titles you have to win games that are different ways. High scoring, come from behind. I don't think.
But if you have the players around you, you have different ways to win the games.
Yeah, that's one of the great unknowns. You might be right.
Right. You don't know.
You might be right.
There is I'm not dismissing that. Like that he would be good with the 40 or a team like that.
No, I'm sure he would be good.
There's a difference between being good and going for a three-peat.
Okay, that's
Like,
but
I think to win it all, you need to find a way to win a game in a different way.
I mean, do you think that Brock Purdy is made to look better because of that team?
Oh, of course,
absolutely.
of course. But I also
yes,
think
but Brock Purdy hasn't won anything.
He's won games.
Right, exactly. And I
Like
think Mac
every
Jones
game
would
this
have
team
won
ever
games
played.
too.
Yeah, but
except for one.
Yeah, okay, but he doesn't lose.
Because it happened in a different way.
Yeah, I think to the point, and I've said this multiple times on this show, when you look at Mac Jones at Alabama, he had 5-star everything, elite everything. Like if he had to play Georgia now, like the Georgia now, he would have had to find a way to win in a different way. He didn't have to do that then, and that's why he's struggling so much now. He never had to persevere. He never had to have ice in his veins. He never had to be clutch.
Oof.
He was just good.
Oof.
So he had great talent around him.
But now, and that's, again, like people that say, oh, this was like a good we're 33 starts into it.
Yeah.
And so he hasn't shown that ability that you just laid out in 33 games that he started in the NFL. So I just, at some point, you got to show it. Like, you have to have actual results. It can't just be like, well, it could be there. Like, it's got to be real.
You know what, Fred? I like their chances to do it Sunday night.
Against Miami.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like the spot.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll get to picks later in the week.
Hurry.
But that's it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. We'll be back tomorrow. Anything going on today, Matt, I need to say? No? Okay.
Can I have one last line just to
Sure.
go back to that caller? Cherry picking the absolute worst game that Josh Allen's ever had in his career and saying that's what he is like beyond Paul-like disingenuousness. That was literally the worst game Josh Allen's ever played, and that's what he is. That made me laugh.
Well, I think the Jets had something to do with that, but okay.
No, but I'm just saying he played an awful game.
Yeah, he did.
And that's what he is.
He did.
Was what the comment was.
Well, he's becoming what he's supposed to be. Let's put it that way.
Okay. The second best quarterback in football last year?
The window's closing. All right,
Keep
we'll be
telling
back
yourself
tomorrow.
that.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original.